and Stanton counties until 4:15 p.m. Central Time. Now let's look at the velocity scope on here because you can show you where the tornado is. And in fact, there's two little bits of circulation here. One is actually right in there. This is where the primary circulation is, at least for now. That's the one that the storm chasers were looking at, moving just to the northwest of Stanton. There is a new one perhaps developing to the southeast of Stanton, right out in here, guys, where the circulation would be about like that. So keep an eye on this monster supercell thunderstorm that may be capable of promoting or producing multiple tornadoes along the way as it moves toward the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So this is the locations that may be affected by this particular storm in the next half an hour or so, and look for Pilger at about 4:13 p.m. Central Time. Large hail, no doubt, associated with that storm, as is very strong straight line winds as well. So be on the lookout there. Farther to the north, across southern Minnesota, just to the north of I-90 in Worthington, Minnesota, there was a tornado warning out for this particular storm right here between Worthington and Seward. That warning has expired. It is now a severe thunderstorm warning out for Cottonwood, Murray, and Nobles counties until 4:30 p.m. Central Time. There is a broad circulation in here, guys. You see the reds and the blues close to each other, but right now that circulation is relatively broad, about like that. So we don't think there's a tornado with this right now, but stay tuned because you may be experiencing rapid changes over the next several hours of this particular cluster of thunderstorms as it moves eastward at about 30 miles per hour. Backing out a little bit, you get the sense that we've got a very large area of rain, and there is also some very large hail in here, at least 2 to 3 inch hail, and that is going to be one of the themes that we're going to see later on tonight. Very large hail, damaging hail, with this cluster of thunderstorms moving eastward across southern Minnesota. Here are some of the locations that are going to be impacted by this particular thunderstorm that is warned for producing very high winds. And in fact, it's this same thunderstorm that did produce wind gusts over 90 miles per hour in the Sioux Falls, South Dakota area about an hour ago. So I would not be surprised if it still has that possibility of 80 to 90 mile per hour wind gusts with it. There is a tornado warning out for northwestern Iowa for Lyon County until 4:15 p.m. Central Time. That's about another 10 minutes. Let's zoom in on this guy. And it doesn't have the classic hook-shaped appearance right now. And in fact, I'm looking at this and I don't see a whole lot of organized rotation inside of that. Very broad circulation. Keep an eye on it. It may produce a tornado along the way, but right now I think it may not be, but it's got a tornado warning on it for another 10 minutes. We will have a close eye on this for you as we move through the evening hours. So let's move out. Now we can back out and look at the radar, I think, just a little bit. Now, Sarah, maybe we can time out this whole line for everybody as it moves eastward across northern Iowa and southern Minnesota. There's I-90, there's Worthington, Fairmont in Minnesota, Spencer, Iowa, and this line of storms right here is moving to the east-southeast at about 30 to 40 miles per hour. So some of the locations that we think will be impacted by this line of nasty storms includes Worthington, Sibley, Sheldon, Spencer, and Armstrong in Iowa. That would be by about 6 p.m. Central Time, guys. So stay tuned. It is going to be a long evening ahead. Now let's move ahead with some of the graphics and show you what we've got lined up across the region. Here are some of the storm reports that we've seen over the last hour. As I mentioned, 96 mile per hour. That was measured by a storm chaser, 87 miles per hour at the Sioux Falls Airport in South Dakota. And here's the big picture. We've got a very powerful low pressure system right now over northern Nebraska. And a lot of these thunderstorms that we're seeing in Minnesota and northern Iowa, they're actually north of a warm front where the temperature there is in the 70s and 60s. So it's still pretty juicy up there. But the real high instability is down here over Nebraska. That's why there is a particularly dangerous tornado watch box out for parts of eastern Nebraska. And that is where the Stanton tornado is, or the tornado near Stanton, Nebraska is, in that very unstable air. So watch out. That storm has plenty of juice to work with and will likely be ongoing for a while to come. Look at our torcons. We've got very high torcons in place today at 6 and 7 across the region. And then tomorrow, we're looking at more severe weather across much of the same region in the upper Midwest and Great Lakes. Could be a long couple of days ahead. Guys, back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Postel. Now, of course, flooding is a big concern with some of these storms, too. We've got plenty of moisture, Paul, and it does look like we've had some rainfall rates in some cases. How about a ½ inch in about 3 minutes? That's about 10 inches per hour.
Yeah, we're talking about many areas seeing record rain, but we also are still tracking the severe weather. I think we have a storm chaser on the phone.
center.
Near Stanton, Nebraska. This is Dan McMillan?
Yes, Dave. Hi, Dave.
Ben McMillan. Are you tracking this storm right now?
Yes, sir. We're just about a mile south of Highway 57, south of that State Road 275. There is debris in the air now that this thing is spitting out. We haven't seen any major damage yet. It's remained mostly in farm fields, but Nebraska State Highway or U.S. State Highway, I'm not sure which it is, 275, it is moving from west to east down that corridor. People near Wisner, Nebraska, and areas to the west of there really need to be watching the weather right now.
And Ben, can you still see it? Because looking at the video here, it looks like there's definitely plenty of rain around. Can you actually still visibly see the tornado?
Yep, you're looking at it right on the live stream right now. It's kind of rain wrapped, but you can see the motion in the cloud there. If you look in the top center of the shot, past those trees, you'll see that tornado still spinning there.
And that makes it even more dangerous for folks, right? Because they're not, you know, they're probably not realizing what they're looking at right now.
Okay, do you guys have the shot? It's actually turned brown now, the tornado has.
Well, we're really, it's tough to see actually something reaching the ground. We're basically seeing, Ben, are you still there? Did we lose Ben? Okay,
yeah,
all right, we lost him.
We still have his picture there, but I mean, that's kind of the double-edged sword with this technology is you do have the ability to see these pictures, but sometimes it's either pictures or audio, because a lot of times they use cell phone technology to get this stuff back to us, which is great. We can see this and people can see this and hopefully stay out of its way. But unfortunately, sometimes it's like your normal call is dropped. Sometimes you actually lose the voice part of it.
We'll
looks like it's moving right over the highway right now.
Right, very dangerous, folks. We'll keep you up to date on this tornado near Stanton, Nebraska. We'll be back right after this, hopefully getting Ben back on the phone on this one.
At Lincoln Financial, we believe you're the boss of your life, the chief life officer, in charge of providing for loved ones, growing your nest egg, and protecting what matters most. Ask your financial advisor how Lincoln Financial can help you take charge of your future. Life, income, retirement, group benefits, and advice. Lincoln Financial, you're in charge.
I typed my name, and Ancestry opened the door to my past. Before my eyes, my family story was revealed. And the further I traveled back, the more I discovered. Let Ancestry guide you through the world's largest online collection of family history records. Discover your story today at Ancestry.com.
We get cats. They always figure it out. So they deserve a smart choice in litter. We make Fresh Step scoopable with carbon that's trapping and eliminating odors. Fresh Step, your cat deserves the best.
Currently in our area, 94 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, generally clear. Low 69. Winds south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday, mainly clear. High 92. Winds south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back. We have breaking news here on the Weather Channel, and we are tracking tornadoes here in eastern Nebraska. There's currently a tornado warning for Cumming and Stanton counties, and we have seen on our air at least one tornado from this tornadic thunderstorm. In fact, we're watching storm chasers stream there on the left side of your screen. He's, I believe it's Jeffrey Gonzalez near Norfolk, Nebraska, and then on the right, that's a zoom in on the radar of that cell now. It's still being warned, Cumming and Stanton counties in Nebraska for a tornado warning.
All right, Jeffrey, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, Jeffrey, tell us exactly where you are on this thunderstorm, because we were getting reports there were 2 rotations. Jeffrey? Okay, I think we've lost him here for a minute. We'll get him back on the phone here in just a moment. He actually has a tornado in his sight near Norfolk, Nebraska right now. Again, reports of even damage. Storm spotter earlier, Ben McMillan was reporting he was seeing debris being thrown for this tornado.
Right, again, so it could have 1, possibly 2 tornadoes here with this cell being warned in Cumming and Stanton County. This is in eastern Nebraska. These cells have been moving to the northeast around 20 miles an hour, and eventually that'll start bringing it on towards towns like Wisner, as well as Pilger. All towns in Nebraska need to take shelter immediately. There are tornadoes, at least 1, possibly 2 tornadoes with this thunderstorm, with this warning here, and they continue to be a threat as we head throughout the rest of this afternoon. Now, the good news is this is generally rural farmland, but again, with the farms, you do have farmhouses or the outbuildings, but right now, no reports of major damage.
All right, Dr. Postel is going to join us now. He's been watching this thunderstorm very closely. Dr. Postel, very volatile situation, very volatile atmosphere out there tonight.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, Kim. I mean, some of the CAPES, which is convective available potential energy, that's how much buoyant energy the thunderstorms have to work with, is very high, on the high end of the scale, over 5,000 joules per kilogram. So these are very huge thunderstorms with quite a bit of wind shear to work with, and that's why we're seeing them so productive in terms of big hail, high winds, and even tornadoes as well. This is, I believe, the supercell not far away from Stanton, Nebraska, in northeastern Nebraska. You can see that there on our radar, and it is moving toward the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So I just want to point out, though, that the tornadoes on the southwest side of this particular supercell, that would be down here. So if you live on the northeast side of the path of this storm, you are going to get the rain, the hail, and you may not see anything until the tornado is upon you, because it's resting back here on the back side. Now let's go over to our Gibson Ridge radar here, and I can show you exactly what we're looking at. And there we are. That's Pilger right there. And there's a ton of rain and hail right up in here, guys, and the storm is moving in that direction, but look where the tornado is. Now let me get to the storm relative velocity to show you exactly where it is. This right here, that's the old tornado that moved to the northwest of Stanton. There is a new one developing right out in here, a very large and potent circulation just to the southwest of Pilger, Nebraska, again moving toward the northeast in that direction at about 35 miles per hour. It's going to get very close to Pilger, so be prepared for damaging winds in that region. Please take cover if you can right now in that area. And looking at some of the other data that we've got here, we can look at the correlation coefficient, which gives us the idea of whether or not there's a debris ball in there. And indeed, there are actually 2 of them. You can see that area shaded in blue right in here. That is the old tornado that is probably dissipating or roping out, is my suspicion, but it's still got a lot of debris. That's blue signature. But there may be the new one right in here. That was the sort of larger circulation that does appear now to have debris with it. So be careful along the path of this apparent tornado, and a big one at that. And some of the other data we can look at here, normalized rotation, gives you an idea of exactly where the strongest rotation of all is. And it is indeed with this new, or at least developing tornado that has a very large and strong rotation with it. And I do believe that may be what we're looking at right now in some of the video that we're getting in here. That's very impressive video, and that is obviously from a location where you can see it. And as I mentioned before, if you live to the northeast of this particular thunderstorm, you are not going to see this tornado coming your way because it will be obscured by rain and hail and high winds. And again, the tornado is right in here somewhere, guys. That does have debris in it. So watch out for this storm as it continues to move off toward the northeast. Sarah, can we time this out? Is there a chance we can give people an idea of who might be in this path and the cities and the locations as we move it off toward the northeast at about 35 miles per hour? So we're just going to back out a little bit and show you that's that tornado warned storm that we're talking about. And does appear to be producing a tornado, though some of the video we're seeing is kind of hard to pick out exactly where that tornado might be. Right now we're looking at just a lot of dark sky. It's not clear what's inside of that. But again, there is very likely a tornado with this particular storm. So Sarah, is there a way to, there we go. We got the cone here to show you exactly where, go back to the graphics if you could, Pilger and Pender. Fortunately, there are not too many towns in the way of this thing, and that is a good thing because this is a very nasty tornadic supercell moving across northeastern Nebraska. And Pender at 4:53 p.m., we've heard the storm chasers say they've been tracking this thing for a long time. It's got a long life to it. There's no reason why it's going to disappear. Look at that video right there. Yes, it's hard to exactly tell what's going on there. It's a long way away, but don't know what direction they're looking at. But that does appear to be the supercell that we're talking about near Pilger, Nebraska. So travelers along that area, be very careful. For example, on County Road 9, maybe 16 in parts of this area of Nebraska, be on the lookout for some tornadic developments as we move through the next hour or so. Sarah, now let's maybe can back out a little bit and see if we can have a peek at what's going on across southern Minnesota. There we go. Look at that. Actually, you know what? I wonder if to the right, that's the Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. Very good. Jeffrey Gonzalez, you are chasing this storm, and can you tell me what direction you're looking at and how far away from those perhaps tornadoes you're looking at? Jeffrey Gonzalez, are you there? Okay, we don't have the video from him, the audio from him, but those do appear to be, I wonder if that's this looks like maybe a funnel cloud in the far right part of the screen would have been looking at the rope tornado that's roping out on the northwestern side of that particular storm, and the one to the south, maybe the growing and intensifying circulation. That certainly looks like what it might be based on that video, but it's hard to tell, of course, being that far away. So, yeah, and you can see maybe if you go back to our monitor that there's sort of two apparent well-defined circulations. There's that one, which doesn't appear to be as strong anymore. That may be the one off on the right side of your screen. And then here's another one right here that does appear to be quite a bit stronger. You see the blues and the oranges, pixel to pixel, right next to each other, guys. That's where the strongest rotation is, and that is likely where the tornado is. And there is some spectacular video coming out of this place right now near Pilger, Nebraska. You can see on the video there is very likely a tornado on the ground not far from Pilger. And there, look at that. That's clear. There's no doubt about what that is. And trees are in the way, unfortunately. But this storm is moving again toward the northeast, about 35 miles per hour. And do we have the storm chasers on the phone with us? No, okay, we don't have a storm.
That's all right. Are y'all okay?
Okay, Ben McMillan, can you hear? This is Dr. Greg Postel from the Weather Channel. Ben McMillan, are you with us?
Yes, Dr. Pastel, we have huge debris and buildings being destroyed in the town of Wisner. If you can see it on the screen, this is a very deadly situation. I'm very concerned. A lot of structures are getting ripped apart right in front of me. I'm going to try to zoom in and get it for you for the shot. This is extremely concerning.
It's a very strong signature on the Doppler velocities. This is an apparently very strong tornado that is moving northeast, and you can see debris in the air. It's got a strong correlation coefficient on the Doppler radar suggesting that there is tons of debris. You can actually see it. Yeah, I mean, that is striking video. You can see debris being flown in the air, centrifuged out away from that vortex. No doubt about that. How far away from it are you?
We're probably about 2 miles, 3 miles to the west. The storm's moving northeast, so we are getting in a safe position, but this is a very violent tornado continuing to track north and northeast near the town of Wisner, Nebraska.
So you are looking east, essentially, right?
Yep, I'm looking east. We're driving east on State Road 275. Get it, Brendan? This is it.
All right, stay safe. And it does appear to be moving from right to left across your viewpoint, right?
That is correct. It's about to cross the road here. I'm really worried about those houses in the Shire here. You might actually see some buildings get destroyed right in front of us. Again, this is very concerning.
Stay safe. Stay away from the mesocyclone. Whatever you can. Stay at a safe distance.
Dr. Postel, we now have 2 tornadoes on the ground at once. 2 at once. There's a small rope on the right, and the larger, more violent tornado on the left.
Correct. That's exactly right. That's exactly what we're looking at on the radar. Sarah, if you can get that to. Can we get the?
Max 7 and your screenwriter there.
Let's see if we got this.
Where's this right now?
Yeah, Dr. Postel, on top of that storm chaser, Jeffrey Gonzalez, we also had an NWS chat, some homes destroyed just northwest of Stanton earlier. And it looks like this town of Wisner has about 11 to 1,200 people, the population
I got
of that area.
It. It's in the screener.
And this tornado is coming right across, I believe that's Highway 275 that they were talking about.
And Ben, I see a lot of cars going towards this tornado. How can people not know what is going on ahead of them? Ben, are you there?
I think it's Jeffrey.
Or Jeffrey? Or we got?
It's Ben.
Okay, we
Ben's
lost
gone.
him. It has crossed, looks like, the road right now, but it continues to do major damage.
There isn't a second tornado on the right as well, just off the screen there.
Yeah, if they could pan to the right, we could see both tornadoes.
So we definitely saw some debris. Again, there's plenty of farmland in there, but also that means farmhouses, outbuildings as well. So we already have reports of some damage around Pilger. Significant tornado just hit Pilger, Nebraska, as well as areas just northwest of
Paul, are you there?
Stanton.
This is Greg Postel from the studio. I want to show you what we're looking at here on the Doppler velocity, because it does appear there are 2 tornadoes in progress, one to the left there where you saw, and one on the right. And you can actually see that very clearly on this. Right in here, guys, there is this tornado not far from Pilger, which is right in here. That's the primary one that we're looking at, and there's another one off to the right here as well, which does appear to also have a very strong signature in the Doppler radar. So there are 2 tornadoes in progress, apparently. And if you can go back to that camera shot, that camera is looking from the west. He's over here, actually on 275, I think he was. He's over here looking toward the east. He's got 1 tornado on his left and 1 tornado on his right, very clearly outlined right now on the Doppler scope. This is pretty remarkable stuff. I can't recall ever seeing something like this before, and I've chased a lot of storms. This is quite something.
Yeah, obviously, Dr. Postel, looks like it's still doing damage. You see the debris being flowing out of the funnel there on the left on that tornado, but right over 275, here comes the second tornado coming across the highway.
And do you think, Dr. Postel, that it's moving the same path? I mean, it's moving the same direction, and it will go over the same areas? The second tornado, is it moving differently?
Probably not. Probably not over the exact same location. This one, look at that, is doing damage right now. You can see all the debris flying through the air. That is the tornado, the north tornado or the northwest tornado. The one on the right is the south or the southeast tornado. And actually, it does look like a little bit, like if you look on the radar, let's go back to the Gibson Ridge radar. Sarah, let's get up the correlation coefficient if you can, or the Doppler velocity if you can. There's the correlation coefficient. What this is telling you is that there are 2 very large debris signatures that are nearly on top of each other. There was one right there and another one right here. So these are the 2 tornadoes that we're looking at. Remember, the line of sight from that video, he's on the west side of this, the storm chaser is looking east, and on the left side he's got 1 tornado that's got a high correlation coefficient, or actually a low correlation coefficient value, but a very clear signature there in the debris field. And another one here, and those are the 2 tornadoes in progress doing damage right now. There's a normalized rotation, and it does appear, actually, in terms of velocities and what's going on, the dynamics inside of each of those circulations, the one to the south and east is quite a bit stronger than the one to the north and west. Still strong up there, but the strongest tornado is that one right here, just to the east of Pilger and just to the northwest of Wisner, and there it is. That's the strongest signature that we've got right there on the Doppler velocity scope. 2 tornadoes in progress. Remarkable stuff over eastern Nebraska. And you mentioned, or Kim, you questioned whether or not they were going to go over the same areas. I doubt it. They appear to be separated by a few miles at least, going along similar paths, but probably not identical ones.
And Dr. Postel, you know, we talked about the situation mentioned today and how volatile and how unstable the atmosphere is, and the shear is so strong in this area, we could be talking about violent tornadoes, right? I mean, we're talking about maybe EF3 and higher possibly.
No doubt about it. And the other aspect of this is that these supercells that are forming in this very unstable environment will likely last a long time. The parameters are in place, very strong vertical shears, and obviously we have a lot of instability. I mean, just for weather enthusiasts' point of view, the CAPES, or the convective available potential energy, is at the high end of the scale. The amount of buoyant energy these thunderstorms have to tap and to use and to grow tall and strong, it's over 5,000 joules per kilogram, and that's a very high number. So these are big, strong thunderstorms that have got no reason to quit anytime soon.
And look at this, Dr. Postel.
Yeah.
Look at the size of this, and look at the rotation. And again, we've already had reports of significant damage with this right now. Near the town of Wisner, Nebraska, if you're just joining us, we actually have 2 tornadoes on the ground from the same thunderstorm, and this one here is the strongest one of the 2.
Yeah, we're in eastern Nebraska now, and both of these tornadoes have actually crossed north and east of 275, high 275 here in eastern Nebraska. So if you're in that area, be aware that, again, we have 2 dangerous and large tornadoes doing damage. Numerous reports of damage and buildings being impacted. I guess the good news is this is generally a lot of farm area, but there's still farm buildings, outbuildings, and many of them have
there's some damage.
A telephone pole.
We're looking at damage right here in this town.
You see the tops of the trees just snapped over there. That is definitely from that tornado.
Right, the tornado just went through this town near Wisner. This might be Wisner, Nebraska. I'm not sure exactly.
The tops of the silos are gone. Let's just hope and pray that people are underground here, because this is, you can just definitely see it, but if you're north and east of here, you're definitely in the rain, and then eventually you might have this tornado upon you. You can see the damage that pieces of the silo just strewn about.
Hey, Kim and Paul, are you there?
Yes, we're here.
You know, Kim, you asked that interesting question whether or not they'd go over the same paths. I think you're getting the answer right in front of you. You saw the damage from the first circulation, the first tornado that moved through, and now this is the second one trailing behind it, but off to the east a little bit, I think. So they're not going over the exact same path, but it's pretty close.
Oh my gosh, it's way too close for sure. And we have a storm chaser out there right now who is tracking this for us. Again, we are in eastern Nebraska, northeastern Nebraska, near Wisner, Nebraska, and look at the size of this tornado, possibly EF3, EF4, large wedge tornado, doing major damage to some of these farm homes and farmland.
And the tornado warning has now been expanded from Cumming and Stanton counties, now including Wayne County. So again, if you're in there or know anyone in those areas, tell them to get underground or to the shelter immediately, because we have 2 damaging tornadoes on the ground moving through areas of eastern and northeastern Nebraska, moving northeast between 20 and 40 miles per hour. And there are not as many roads around this area because there's a lot of farms, so they need to take shelter immediately. Get out now, even though if you're just in that rain, you got the rain, possibly some hail first, and then on the back side of the rain, you might have 2 tornadoes coming your way.
And Dr. Postel, you know, you talked about they could be long-lived, long-track tornadoes. I mean, is it possible this thing weakens a little bit and then it cycles again to where we get another tornado forming from this?
Yeah, we're seeing that right now. See that right there? That was the lead tornado, the first one that appears to have at least weakened, and certainly shows that on the Doppler scopes. We're not seeing the same tight circulation with that one off to the north and west of the first one. That's actually out over here somewhere, I believe, but maybe it's now due west of the stronger tornado, which is out over here. So we're seeing the changes on the Doppler radar very consistent and line up exactly with what we're seeing on the video, where the southern and eastern, now primarily eastern tornado is the strong one and the dominant one, and these may just be going through cycle after cycle, and I don't know which one is going to take over the next time, and if maybe they're going to combine. I really don't, but we have 2 tornadoes on the ground. I don't think I've ever seen this before.
All right, Dr. Postel, again, if you're just joining us, we are looking live right now. 2 tornadoes from a supercell in northeastern Nebraska, and tornado chasers have been out here and they've been following this. And look at this side by side. Paul, I don't think I've ever seen on live television 2 tornadoes next to each other like this.
No, and unfortunately, they're doing both damage. Again, this is generally a rural area of eastern Nebraska, but we just saw numerous buildings, some outbuildings, some silos, some farmhouses definitely being impacted, if not destroyed by this, and we definitely definitely saw the debris being brought up, and we clearly see one tornado in the center of the screen, and then just off to the left there is that second one, and you can see even the grass, or even the storm chaser's jacket there is being brought in, that strong inflow coming in and feeding these tornadoes with those strong winds. So yeah, I've seen several tornadoes on air, never two this close, basically within maybe a couple of miles of each other, doing this much damage. This is
and they're both
incredible.
cyclonic rotating tornadoes too, from what I can tell on this. So this is incredible. You could see even in the forefront the whole thunderstorm rotating. It's what we call a supercell, this mesocyclone, producing these two tornadoes. And this one just amazing. And we've gotten reports of significant damage in some of these towns. This is near Wisner. And earlier, was it Pilgrim, Nebraska?
Pilger,
Nebraska.
Forgive me if I pronounce it wrong, but it's Pilger, Nebraska. And you can clearly see there on the right side of the screen and the center, those are two tornadoes. Both are doing damage here in eastern Nebraska.
Huge.
Hey, Kim and Paul, are you there?
Both huge. All right, guys, we're going to continue to follow this through the night for you. We'll be back live with these two tornadoes near Wisner, Nebraska, coming up right after this break.
No, we're not going to break. And just want to kind of reset. Again, you're watching Weather Center Live. I'm Paul Goodlow along with Kim Cunningham. We have Dr. Greg Postel here, and we've been tracking this dangerous situation all across the plains this afternoon. At least the half hour we've been sitting here, we've been dealing with one, now two tornadoes. And as you see the video on the left side of your screen, they're probably within a couple of miles, if not maybe a mile of each other.
They even look like they're getting closer together, if you ask me. Yes, Dr. Postel.
Yeah, I do think they're getting closer together. I'm looking at the Doppler scans here, and you can see now there is not much distinction between the two according to the radar. And if we can go to the radar, you can see there is one circulation right about in, let's see, let me get the right color here, right about there, and the other one is right about there. So they are very close to one another, and you can actually see that on the picture. Before, they were much more widely spaced, and I don't know if that means that these two vortices are going to merge and become a much larger one. We'll just have to wait and see what happens here. But I'm guessing the storm chaser who's taking this video is looking probably northeast, certainly an east component to his view. That's where he was before. I don't know exactly what highway he's on. If he's on 275, right down in here, he's looking toward the northeast, very likely. So that may be the road he's on, and looking left and right there. We've got two strong signatures on the velocity, potentially two strong tornadoes very close to each other. And I'll tell you what, the good news is, out here in eastern Nebraska, we're doing the scans on these tornadoes to see what towns will be impacted, and the good news is, in the next half hour, we don't see any. So that is good news. This is an open territory in eastern Nebraska, but let's hope that it doesn't last too much longer than that, because the farther east in Nebraska you go, the more likely you run into some population areas. So these tornadoes are getting close together. You can see the whole thing rotating. The mesocyclone, that's the bear's cage. If you're a tornado chaser, you stay out of that bear's cage, because there could be tornadic winds inside of that.
And Dr. Postel, looks like Highway 275 kind of dives south, kind of southeast once it passes Pilger through the town of Wisner. Reports of this tornado being about 8 miles north of Wisner, so perhaps it's no longer Highway 275. But as you mentioned, there are really no major towns or cities there until you get up towards Pender and Thurston. A lot of farmland, but as we saw earlier, there are plenty of farm buildings and farmhouses too. So it's
nice little lightning there.
It can still be a very dangerous situation as we have two large tornadoes, maybe even merging into one as we are watching it.
You don't see two anymore, right? I mean, I'm looking at the video. We're looking at the video. Maybe it's behind that first one. It's hard to know. But they're not far apart. They're getting closer and closer together with each passing scan.
We want to quickly tell our viewers that we'll be staying with this until this threat passes. So we're going to blow out all our commercial breaks to keep you ahead of whatever danger is out there. Again, we're bringing you a little while ago two tornadoes, almost, we wouldn't call them twin, but we had definitely two tornadoes from this one supercell thunderstorm here in eastern Nebraska. And I believe we have a storm chaser.
We do. Ben McMillan, I believe, is on the phone with us. He's been with us from the very beginning on this. And Ben, tell us what you're seeing, because we're just seeing one. I mean, what can you guys see right now?
This has been a historic outbreak, guys. There's been numerous violent tornadoes rotating around each other. This is going to be one that's probably going to be studied by scientists for many years to come. And the threat is not over yet. It's continuing to grow. Right now, we have probably a mile to a mile and a half wide tornado just to our north. We're driving parallel it, south of it from west to east, so I don't know if you can see it. In the shot right now, I've tried to angle my dash cam off to the left. But again, a historic but also very deadly and very dangerous situation. We don't know any news on injuries or worse yet, but people need to take this seriously because we're afraid that, there could be reports come out of those yet to come.
Well, Ben, we just heard that there's been reports of catastrophic damage in Pilger, Nebraska, numerous buildings being destroyed by that tornado.
Have you seen any of the damage yourself? I mean, we're seeing bits and pieces as you're driving along, but what have you seen?
We haven't seen any folks indicating they needed help from us. We've just seen, grain bins and numerous trees and lots of their smaller pieces of structures that have been hit, but no catastrophic damage yet for us. If we see that, we'll obviously stop and try to aid those folks. And our hearts and prayers obviously go out to the folks that have had issues so far.
And Ben, if you could describe to the folks watching right now where you are in proximity to this and about how far you think you are from this tornado.
We're probably about 1 mile to the southwest. We are south and behind the storm for our own safety, and it is continuing to move east and northeast towards other towns and residential areas. So this is an extremely large tornado on the ground, very violent tornado, and the people really need to be taking shelter, preferably underground. And, you might only survive in an underground structure. I hate to say that, and I hardly ever say it, but this is the type of storm that we do have to say it. You might not survive this if you're not underground.
All right, I think Dr. Postel has a question for you. Dr. Postel?
Yeah, I do. And you notice, you can see in the video there, are you losing your perspective of the tornado right now? Is it becoming more rain-wrapped?
Yes, Greg. It's kind of becoming HP. You especially would know how it transitions from that classic to more of an HP type of storm, and when that happens, you lose a lot of visibility, like you just indicated.
Right, and the storm, we can guess, and tell me if this makes sense with your coordinates in the field. We're getting a storm motion of northeast at about 30. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's why I've been able to keep up with it and give you these live pictures to help get the word out and hopefully save people's lives today. Otherwise, we wouldn't be putting ourselves as spotters in this position.
Yeah, and if we're looking at the velocity scan like you are, and we can see a whole bunch of rotations inside a broader rotation, and this is the whole process of this sort of accumulation of vorticity, or really sort of the gathering of little tiny vortex signatures, perhaps into one larger one that is now apparently obscured by rain. So let's back out, Sarah, if we can, on this, because I want to give people an idea of where in Nebraska we are and how far away from places like Sioux Falls or even Winnebago we are. And we have to keep an eye on this storm because, Ben, as you've been chasing it for a long time, it's a long-lived storm, right?
Yes, sir. It's what we call a cyclic supercell. One tornado stops or weakens or dies out, and the next one is right on its heels. The violent rotation is not subsiding, and until this storm weakens, I'm really worried about this continuing throughout the night.
Exactly. Now, we can show you here on our on the TV screen here how far away from, for example, Winnebago, Nebraska this is. And Sarah, if you can vector that out for me, we can give you an idea of how far away it is from some of those locations. And there we go, about 28 miles to the west-southwest of Winnebago. And it is moving essentially toward the northeast or maybe even east-northeast. So you can see, be very, very careful in locations in eastern Nebraska. And then from beyond that, who knows? And, Ben, as you were mentioning, this is taking on a classic signature now, a giant hook echo, HP supercell, with one now parent tornado maybe taking over.
Yes, Greg, it's continuing to be at least a mile wide with the rain wrapping around it. I can't really give you an exact number. I can confirm it's still on the ground, though. I'm looking out my left window, and the whole sky is obscured by black rotating cloud mass. So violent rotation still reaching the ground at this point, and no signs of weakening.
Hey, Ben, can you still see two, or is just one tornado you see right now?
One large tornado with another wall cloud out ahead of it. We're getting these satellites which intermittently drop out and rotate around this larger tornado, but at this point, just one large one on the ground.
And also, what road are you along? I know you said you were on 275 earlier, and we clearly saw both tornadoes cross over 275.
Yeah, we're 2 miles north of 275 on a county road called B. B like Victor. It's a gravel, so obviously that's the best I can give you. Crossing Road 6, so that probably doesn't help too much. But B and Road 6.
And Ben, I don't know, you probably know the roads out there, but is it anything, are there another town that's nearby that we have to worry about? Maybe Thurston, is that?
Yeah,
Okay.
Thurston, Nebraska is an imminent threat right now. Please take this warning seriously and take cover.
Yeah, you guys, our weather producer Sarah Dillingham just brought the scope here to show you some of the locations that may indeed be impacted by this tornadic supercell. Thayer, Flournoy, and Mary in Nebraska, and those are the times that we've got for you that may be at risk for seeing this tornado move through. So take cover in those locations right now. This is a very dangerous situation. The tornado now appears to be obscured in rain. We have the chasers on it, and it's a lot of rain that is surrounding a potentially violent tornado that's been on the ground for a long time, moving toward the east-northeast at about 30 miles per hour. And Sarah, if we can get that velocity scan on there, you can just see how clear the signature is. And we're about ready to get, there it is. There's sort of the broader circulation there. It's still very strong. And the storm chaser that's with us, Ben, is telling us that there is a one-pair tornado with lots of little ones around it. There's lots of little circulations in here that may indeed be rotating and actually showing up on the velocity scan.
And Dr. Postel, I mean, looking at especially being rain wrapped, is that any indication that this may be weakening a little bit and then maybe another one taking over? I mean, maybe you can explain to folks when we talk about rain wrapped tornadoes, is that any indication to what may be happening with the tornado? It can be, but doesn't necessarily mean it will be that case. What it means more so than anything else, what people need to keep in mind is that the rain curtains now have come all the way around. The rear flank downdraft is now precipitating, and we are getting a tornado that has surrounded itself in rain. And you won't see it coming your way. And as you're seeing on that picture, that looks like a new development, and I'm not exactly sure what direction they're looking. And maybe we can get Ben on the phone to tell us. He may still be looking. We're still trying to get him on the phone. And he's out there, I do believe, looking probably north. Paul and Kim, is that what you remember? He was looking north? I think he was looking, yes, he was looking north. He said he was on the southern side of it, I think, going north. So I'm pretty sure that's how it was. But again, it's like another one developing.
Yeah, he also mentioned Thurston. Now, Thurston County, Nebraska, as well as Cumming and Wayne counties, also now under tornado warnings, as the National Weather Service out of Omaha is definitely keeping ahead of this. So again, they're warning because they are tracking this out just like we are. So again, if you're in Cumming, Thurston, Wayne counties, especially Thurston County, I hope you're watching this and preparing to get underground. Again, reports of catastrophic damage earlier in Pilger, Nebraska. Also plenty of damage in Wisner as well, and it's still over farmland, but there are plenty of farm buildings that might be being damaged right now by at least one, maybe even two tornadoes.
And Ben is with us again. Ben, are you out there? Ben has been following this supercell and this tornado for a good maybe half hour, maybe an hour, more than an hour now. And Ben, where are you now? What's your location?
We're southwest of Pender at P-E-N-D-E-R, Nebraska. A lot of small towns out here, so I'm doing the best giving you guys my location. And again, the tornado is to our northeast and moving east-northeast.
And now, are you still, because it looked like we see that second wall cloud starting to have maybe some winds at the ground. Can you confirm that, or is that still clearly well off the ground?
We sure can. I have two tornadoes on the ground. Dan, if my cameraman can go ahead and show them both tornadoes at this point. We have a large, probably quarter-mile wide cone on the front. And Dan, can you pan and get him a shot of that rope as in its rope out phase? You're actually shooting through our vehicle here, so I don't know if you'll be able to see that rope out. But two on the ground right now, definitely, you know, a cyclic supercell. We get one after another forming. Yeah, we see the rope there. And that's the farther western cell that's roping out, so the eastern cell is now on the ground? I'm not sure. I'm not looking at radar right now. I'm just,
I should say that the western tornado is roping out, and the eastern tornado is the one that's now on the ground.
Correct, yeah. So the western one is in its weakening stage, and the next one down the line is strengthening at this point.
And we talked about how long you've been following this. How long from the first time you reported a tornado on the ground? What time was that?
I'm not sure. If you check with your control room, I called in and indicated that we had a rotating wall cloud. So we were actually trying to bring you live pictures before these even touched down. And thank goodness you guys are there to help us get the video out, to get the word out to these folks, and hopefully protect some lives and property today.
All right, let me jump in and show you the radar and give everybody some perspective on where in Nebraska we're talking about right here. There's the radar reflectivity signature. This is a classic high precipitation supercell that is producing a tornado right now. It's been doing that for a while now, at least an hour. And these are the counties that are under a tornado warning. Can we go back to that, Sarah, and show you the counties that were impacted by the tornado and go on the reflectivity? Cumming, Thurston, and Wayne counties for the cities of Flournoy, Pender, and Walt Hill in Nebraska. You can see on this reflectivity, there's the hook, guys. And the inflow that's coming in is pretty well defined in here. But also I want to point out there is a lot of rain surrounding the supercell. Again, high precipitation event. So right now, every time to time, if you're on the south side of the circulation, you'd be able to see the tornado. But if you are east or northeast of the storm, you're not going to see it coming, and there'll be a lot of rain, a lot of hail, and a lot of wind before the tornado is on you. So let's look at some of those places that might be impacted by this. Again, the circulation in the tornado. Let's zoom in a little bit, Sarah, and show you what the velocity scope looks like right in there. You can see the should be some fairly tight circulation right in here. There are the greens and the blues and the yellows and the reds right next to each other. So the circulation is actually right in here, very likely right about there, and it is moving toward the east-northeast, so about like that over the last, say, half hour. That's been the storm vector motion you can see on that. And let's go to the normalized rotation and show you where this particular radar is estimating the strongest rotation to be. And it is green now, which is right in here, kind of a broad rotation, but the strongest stuff is right about there, just to the northeast of the elbow, these two county highways to the west of Pender, Nebraska. So if you live in Thurston or even Pender, take cover now. This tornadic circulation and tornadic supercell will be moving very close to your area, likely within the next, probably about 15 minutes or so.
Here to make sure we get everybody.
Okay, we're going to time it out and give you the communities that might be impacted by this particular storm. And you can see that Thayer, Flournoy, and Mary are in the path of this tornadic storm. So take cover now if you live there. And you can see our storm chasers are on this in eastern Nebraska. I do believe they are looking north. And if we can bring them on, they can tell us what they've seen lately. Ben, are you still with us? Ben?
Please, yes, I'm here. We're going to test the hill here. You're going to see one of these satellite tornadoes rotating around this large wedge. At this point, it's a really incredibly strong tornado with another secondary tornado, like I said, wrapping around it.
What direction are you looking?
We're looking due north. We're probably about 5 miles west of Pender, southwest, and we're heading north towards the tornado. It is going to be very close to the city of Pender, which is at the intersection of highways 9, 16, and 94 in northeast Nebraska. So traffic and folks in that area really need to take this seriously.
How long would you estimate the tornado has been on the ground?
Oh, it's been probably going on an hour here, guys. This is a long track tornado.
Looks like we're losing the audio with Ben, but again, he says this possible tornado, well, definitely two tornadoes heading towards Pender. Pender has a population of about 1,000 people here in Thurston County. Thurston, as well as now Wayne and Cumming counties under tornado warnings, again, for those two tornadoes. You can clearly see, well, it looks like we can only see one right now, but we definitely saw the other one. And okay, there you go.
See, there we go. Look at
the
that
rotating tornado is rotating around that. And we've often seen multiple vortices in terms of tornadoes, like little whirlwinds or buzzsaws doing damage. But Dr. Postel, I very rarely see something that large rotating around that larger wedge tornado. Have you seen this before?
Never, no. But you know, a lot of times with tornadoes, you'll see apparent circulation and then satellite vortices rotating around, and called suction vortices. And those obviously contain the very, very high wind and the high wind damage that we see with tornadoes. But what we saw earlier was two very large, distinct, cyclonically rotating tornadoes. I mean, they were big. It was like this. There's almost like there were two supercells there, and they were so close together. It was almost like there was one storm that was producing two tornadoes. It wasn't one tornado with a couple mini ones swirling around it. It wasn't like that.
It looks like we don't have a great picture, but I want to commend them for not going north. They're actually going east to stay south of this. So A, they stay out of the hail, also stay out of the direct winds of the tornado, but also keep themselves safe as well. Right. So you know, they don't want to be part of the story, just want to cover it. So we apologize for not seeing the best picture, but you know, we want everyone out there who's watching this or covering this or even streaming this to important thing is to stay safe, and that's what they're doing by heading east versus still heading north on that road.
And Dr. Postel, do you see any reason why this supercell will weaken anytime soon?
Not really. It's in a, it's an environment. It's essentially all by itself. Sarah, if we can get our weather producer Sarah, can you please back out on the radar and show you that this supercell is essentially all by itself, and it's got no competition from surrounding storms. So it's got all the energy it wants, and it's in a very, very unstable environment with capes above 5,000 joules per kilogram, and that's weather fancy talk for high energy available for this storm. It can grow very tall, and it's got nobody else, no other storm around it to fight for that instability. And it's moving toward the northeast. It's been with us now for probably about 2 hours, producing a tornado for probably about one of those. And no, Kim, I don't see any reason why anytime soon it's all of a sudden going to go away. So let's back out on the radar and show you that maybe this storm, locations just south of Sioux City, Iowa, will be impacted by this supercell. I mean, it just continues to go on and on. It's likely going to cross I-29. I don't know. How many miles away, Sarah, is it from I-29, the tornadic part of the storm? Just for reference, there we go. You can see on the radar.
Yeah, let me check here in just 1 second. Let me get the velocity on and get a good idea of where the couplet is at this point.
Here's I-29 right there, and there's northwestern Iowa, and there's the Iowa border with let's see, let me get Nebraska, southwestern Minnesota, and let's see, we've got Sioux City, Iowa right there. Okay, so let's have a look. That's still Iowa. So let's go here. No, let's look here. There's Pender. Okay, Flournoy, Winnebago in parts of eastern Nebraska. So this storm will continue to move toward the east-northeast and get into Iowa, we think. Again, as I mentioned, there's no reason to suspect that this particular storm is going to weaken anytime soon. Likely in the next probably, 45 minutes or so.
And Dr. Postel will also have to consider it moving a little bit further to the right.
Right, and that's a good point, Sarah. A lot of times when you have these supercells, they move to the right a little bit of the background wind flow. The general steering current might be more like that, but this storm, it's rotating and it's going to continue to find the more unstable air, and it's probably going to go more right of that background flow that's going to tend to steer it toward the northeast, so maybe even more east-northeast. And that's kind of the motion that we've seen with this all along, which is classic of a strong supercell. So Kim and Paul, do we have our storm chaser with us?
Let's go north because I'm on the Weather Channel.
Jeffrey Gonzalez, this is Greg Postel of the Weather Channel. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, so what direction are you going? Where are you looking? And how far away from the storm are you?
Right now, we are a mile south of Pilger. We're heading close to the town. We were just there. They weren't letting us through. Town took a direct hit. At one point, we saw 3 tornadoes on the ground, and looks like the town got the worst of it, the town of Pilger, Nebraska. And that should come up here shortly. It looks like there's a lot of traffic all the way back. We're not going to be able to get through, but we are south of the storm right now, trying to get back around.
Yeah, well, stay with us. We'd like to know what you find when you get close to Pilger. And you said you saw 3 tornadoes at once. Did they appear to be like one parent circulation and 2 suction vortices, or were they really distinct tornadoes, almost like there were 2 supercells that were just so close together you couldn't tell them apart?
It actually looked like it was one supercell, but it was a cyclic supercell, so it had numerous mesocyclones, and each mesocyclone had a large cone tornado on the ground.
Right. That is something that I've never seen before in my life, and I've chased a lot, so that is pretty remarkable stuff. And I can tell you right now that the tornado is still on the ground, moving toward the east-northeast, getting very close to Flournoy in Nebraska. And if we can show on the radar scope where this supercell is and where the tornadic circulation is, Sarah, if we can jump to that. There's the hook echo right in here, and the strongest circulation inside of that storm is right in there. And there you go. That's where the strong tornado likely is there, right there. You see the blues and the yellows next to each other. That is the radar motion toward the radar like that, and the radar motion away from the radar like that, and you've got that strong pixel-to-pixel contrast in there. That is what's called a TVS, tornadic vortex signature, and likely a tornado there. There's the town of Flournoy, and that's about where this tornado, which in one form or another has been on the ground for over an hour, that is where it's going.
All right, Dr. Postel, and again, we just want to bring everybody up to date again. We are tracking this supercell moving through northeastern Nebraska that has already produced 3 tornadoes that Jeffrey Gonzalez, the tornado chaser, has spotted out there tonight. And we have several chasers out there following this, and catastrophic damage being reported in some of these towns in Nebraska.
Yeah, and Pilger, Nebraska, possible multiple injuries as well. I believe we have storm chaser Ben McMillan back with us. And Ben, are you still tracking that one, or is it possibly 2 tornadoes now that you're tracking there in eastern Nebraska?
Ben, can you hear us? All right, we're having trouble with hearing Ben right now. We're going to get him back on the phone as soon as we can.
Yes,
as you can see. Oh, he's here? Ben? Ben? Paul was asking if, you know, what you're seeing. I mean, are you seeing 1, 2, 3 tornadoes? What are you seeing right now?
Well, again, we're out here in eastern Nebraska, and again, they're actually sending the video back via cell technology, so sometimes we can get the picture, but sometimes not the audio. But we might have them back again. So again, we're talking eastern Nebraska, not the best of cell coverage.
That's
so
right.
We definitely want to get the, you know, the technology is taking the video as priority and audio as secondary. So Ben, are you with us?
Looks like they've stopped moving.
Mile and a half short pavement.
Okay. It's going to be in and out with Ben right now. But what you're looking at right now is a supercell in northeastern Nebraska that has produced possibly up to 3 tornadoes. At one time, we were showing 2 very distinct large tornadoes doing catastrophic damage, especially to the town of Pilger. And right now, this is live near Pender, Nebraska.
We also have our storm specialist, Dr. Greg Postel, with us again, also analyzing and following the situation. Hey, Greg.
Paul, let's have a look at what this looks like on radar. This is still a remarkable situation. A long-lived tornadic supercell ongoing right now across parts of northeastern Nebraska. There's where sort of the hook echo is. You can see the inflow notch right in here. So that's where the air is flowing in, and the circulation around that. The RFD is coming in on the rear flank downdraft on the back side of that. And the tornado, if you go to the velocity scope, is somewhere in there. That's about where it is right here. You see those blues and the yellows very close to one another. That is telling us that the air motion is flowing away from the radar right here and flowing toward the radar right there. So that is where the circulation is. That's the strongest part of this mesocyclone, likely where the tornado is. And that's, we think, about where it's going, maybe just a little bit north of that. But Sarah, if you can put on the normalized rotation to give you an idea of where the radar thinks the strongest rotation is, right there to the northwest of Thurston in Nebraska, to the south of Wakefield, Nebraska. And Emerson is off to the northeast. And watch out, Emerson. Take cover now. This storm is moving close to you. We don't know if exactly the worst part of it is going to go right over, but take cover, pretend it is, because this is a very nasty storm. And if you look at the correlation coefficient, let me explain what this is. This is the radar's attempt to determine what kind of particles are falling or being moved around inside the thunderstorm. This stuff over here, the red and all the yellow there, that's likely rain and or hail, but this obvious area in blue, those are likely non-meteorological targets that the radar is picking up, meaning debris. There's likely a debris ball with this. That's that area in blue, right where the strongest turning motion was in the velocity scans. Right in there, guys, right where that arrow is, right in here. So that is a debris ball with this thing. It's picking up, fortunately, I think, trees and other kinds of debris, maybe pavement, parts of the road, who knows, power lines. But there's not a lot of populated area for now that is likely contributing to that debris signature in the correlation coefficient. In other words, the kinds of shapes that the tornado is swirling around. We don't think it's a whole lot of structures, at least for now. But watch out for places to the northeast of this, guys, because I'm telling you, Emerson and any place to the northeast of that, Sarah, we could back out. Winnebago and maybe Homer and places in between, small towns, farms in between there, or even down here if the storm is moving a little bit farther to the right. Watch out, because this has been a long-lived tornadic supercell that has very likely produced a strong tornado. We know it's done significant damage in Pilger, Nebraska. We have some storm chasers on the way there, and people may not be allowed to get into that area because of the damage that it's caused. So here's some of the locations that we think will likely be impacted by this tornado. So take cover now in all of those places, and some of those locations off to the north as well. Kim and Paul, back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Dr. Postel, a very incredible afternoon here in Nebraska. Seeing two very distinct large tornadoes at one time and still one on the ground doing damage that we know of, Paul.
And again, so if you are in Emerson, Nebraska, as well as Thurston, Nebraska, again, this possible tornado is headed your way right now. It has already done damage to the south and west of you. Towns like Pilger, Nebraska, has some reports of catastrophic damage, even multiple injuries as well. So again, this is a serious situation. This area of Nebraska isn't heavily populated, but there are some towns with populations between perhaps 100 to over 1,100. So there are people in harm's way right now. As you can see, we've timed it out. Eventually heading on towards Winnebago at 5:28, about a quarter after to Mary, Nebraska as well. And Thurston is coming your way within the next 5 minutes. Probably seeing the rain right now. The tornado could be still wrapped in rain.
All right, if you're just joining us right now, we are interrupting any kind of commercial here tonight to bring you the very latest on these tornadoes in northeastern Nebraska. This was earlier near Stanton, Nebraska, where we actually had two tornadoes, two very distinct tornadoes. One to the left, the very large one. This one did a lot of damage, catastrophic damage. The one to the right also did damage as well. So two of them on the ground at the same time, something we don't see very often. And look at this one near Pilger.
Yet again, Pilger, this tornado did do some damage. You can see the debris being flown in the air by the strong winds from this tornado. Again, this was also one of two tornadoes. Looks like the second one almost came over the exact same terrain here and also crossed Highway 275 here in eastern Nebraska. And we're getting reports in right now of catastrophic damage here in the town of Pilger, Nebraska. Even reports of multiple injuries. And again, not a super densely populated area, but unfortunately, this tornado did find some homes or structures and did damage. We saw a video of silos being, the tops of the silos being blown off, tops of trees being snapped off, all signs of tornado damage there in eastern Nebraska. And we're still concerned because tornadoes are still on the ground as they move on toward the north and east between 20 and 40 miles per hour. And
it's a concern that conditions are still very unstable. It's very ripe for tornadoes to develop in this area to continue on. And as you can see, we even have a tornado warning in Iowa. We want to bring folks up to date on as well. Looks like it is north of Des Moines. So if you're in Des Moines, it's northwest of you, but here in Sioux City, this supercell may actually track south of you or possibly close, maybe some of the southern suburbs might feel the effects of this. And hail, I wanted to ask Dr. Postel about this. We had any reports of large hail with this. I think we could possibly see up to 3-inch diameter hail. Yeah, and a new warning now includes some counties in Iowa, Woodbury County in Iowa under tornado warning, as well as Dakota in Nebraska, Dixon, Nebraska, now South Dakota Union County also under this warning for this same cell, which has produced several tornadoes. All right, let's bring in Dr. Postel for update and analysis on this supercell. Dr. Postel.
Yeah, this is some storm. I mean, we've been tracking this now for the last couple of hours. It's had a tornado with it, likely on the ground for at least the last hour or very close to continuously for the last hour, according to the storm chaser reports that we've seen. And notice now that the tornado warning does get to the edge of Sioux City, Iowa, right in there. This is a storm, very strong, high precipitation supercell that has a tornado with it. Very likely on the ground right now, and some of the cities that will be impacted by this particular storm, that if you live in these cities, take cover right now. Sergeant Bluff, Sioux City, places like that, all the way up through 5:30 p.m. Central Time, 5:30 local. And Sarah, let's zoom in and show you a little bit what the circulation looks like inside of this. And there's a couple of features in here that I want to point to. It looks like the primary strongest circulation, the tornado, would be just to the east of Wakefield, Nebraska, not too far to the west-southwest of Emerson, Nebraska. It is there that on this scan, you can see that the motions are toward the radar here and away from the radar right in there. If you can look at the normalized rotation, Sarah, maybe we can sort of pin that down a little bit. And it does show, go to the rotation if you would. Right there. This is probably an old scan. My guess is now that it's probably about up here. But this is now the strongest part of the storm. Again, we think it's probably one supercell that's got a bunch of mesocyclones with it. So this is not one tornado with a little tiny bunch of satellite circulations around it. It's not like that. This is a supercell with two distinct mesocyclones that are have at times produced two big tornadoes almost side by side with one another. So this is a significant storm, and one that I haven't seen the likes of ever, really. And you can see, again, I think this scan will update fairly soon, but those are the two parts now of this one supercell that are strongest, that are rotating the strongest. And as you said all along, Kim and Paul, there's no reason to think that this supercell is going to die anytime soon. It's got a lot of energy to work with and is essentially by itself. We're starting to see some more development in its vicinity, but the idea is that this will not compete with some other storms nearby, at least for another hour or two. So it will likely hang on for at least that long, and we'll see if it does indeed continue to produce tornadoes. But for many of the locations northeast of Flournoy, Nebraska, or Wakefield, Nebraska, say Winnebago, Homer, Sergeant Bluff, even in Sioux City, start thinking about this and make plans accordingly, because this tornadic supercell may be moving your way.
And I just think it's incredible, Dr. Forbes. Dr. Forbes, Dr. Forbes will have a field day with this, I'm sure, analyzing this. But Dr. Postel, that what we have seen here is something you don't see I've never seen it on live television, having two tornadoes side by side like that, doing damage. Just incredible what we have seen here tonight.
Kim, that's exactly right. As I said, I haven't ever seen this before, and that's an example of what we saw. This is from earlier, where we had, at that point, one significant tornado and another one trying to develop to its right. And at this moment, the storm chaser was looking to the east, and we saw one tornado on the north side, stronger one, and one weaker one on the south side. But as we go forward in time, you see through this video that I think what you ultimately end up getting is two pretty strong tornadoes side by side. The one on the right is not a satellite suction vortex. It was a separate mesocyclone to the right or to the south of the other one.
And Dr. Postel, typically you might see two tornadoes, but one is in the weakening stage while the other is in the strengthening stage. But as you said, those were two distinct, very strong tornadoes on the ground, literally maybe within 3 miles of each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's the supercell is going through its cycle. You have mesocyclones, those circulations within it, growing and weakening. But what was remarkable about this is that you had two strong ones ongoing at the same time for quite a while. Sometimes we see them go, one sort of get strong and then die and then sort of go in sequence. These two were going simultaneously. There you go, right there.
That's just an incredible image right there. I think a lot of people were tweeting this out. And we'd love, if you do it safely, get your tweets or your pictures in of some of the weather out there tonight. But you can watch this. It's getting closer, crossing the same road. Paul, is that the same one?
That was Highway 275.
Right. The second one.
First storm tornado came through, then the second tornado came through. And also, we saw, typically we might see the suction vortices kind of surrounding the tornado, but we saw a large stovepipe tornado kind of surrounding one of the tornadoes. Dr. Postel, have you seen something like that before?
No, Paul, I haven't. I haven't seen a video like this. I haven't seen tornadoes and tornadic supercells behave exactly like this. But you can see on the left, there is a tornado doing damage. There's a lot of debris there, and I don't know what town that is, but I do know it was in eastern Nebraska. I don't know exactly where it was, but guys, stay tuned for all the latest. This is a situation that is ongoing. There is a tornadic supercell in northeastern Iowa continuing to move toward the east-northeast. If you live, for example, in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, pay attention, or in Sioux City, Iowa, back to you. Stay tuned.
This program brought to you by Golfsmith. At Golfsmith, we believe you deserve a store that would do anything for golfers. Find the location near you at golfsmith.com.
People that would do anything for golf deserve a store that would do anything for golfers. Visit Golfsmith for the largest selection and guaranteed lowest prices. Golfsmith, anything for golf.
Best Western, stay 3 separate times and get a free night. And use it here. Or here. Or even here. And when you stay, enjoy breakfast and free high-speed internet. Book now at bestwestern.com.
At GMC, one incredible idea leads to another. Like the all-new GMC Sierra with an innovative cargo bed and LED lighting. A quiet cabin no competitor can beat. And 2 years of scheduled maintenance. Incredible thinking in the form of a truck. This month, use your special value pricing to get over $7,800 total value on this specially equipped GMC Sierra SLE.
I'm taking a beating here. around them as we're just dealing with these sheets of rain and winds that are howling 50, 60 miles per hour. I'm going to ride this one out, guys. I'm going to ride this one out right here.
Currently in our area, 90 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 69. Winds south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday, mainly clear. High 92. Winds south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
A Weather Channel original series.
This is a dangerous job.
Catching Hell, Sundays at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Until the conversation turned, until the sun went down.
Discover Brookside and discover an exciting combination of tastes. Rich, dark chocolate covering soft centers, flavored with exotic fruit juices. It's chocolate and fruit flavors like you've never experienced before. Discover Brookside.
The deck on the left is weathered. The deck on the right is worn. Both could use a new finish. But which way do you look? We created a Restore designed to refresh and a Restore designed to repair, so you could get a durable finish that restores a whole lot more. Restore fun. Restore friends. Restore your outdoor oasis. Now there's a perfect Restore solution for any deck, from coast to coast and every place in between, no matter what condition it's in. The revolutionary Restore 4X to refresh and 10X to repair, exclusively from Rust-Oleum.
Welcome back, everyone. We are Tornado Central here at the Weather Channel. What you're looking at right now is earlier video that was taken in northeastern Nebraska near Stanton, Nebraska, of 2 tornadoes that were on the ground at the same time doing significant damage.
And the tornado on the left, that's actually the second tornado going over some of the same areas that have already been damaged, damaging that silo, damaging those homes. You see the debris being kind of blowing around and some of the inflow there. So, and talking to our storm specialist, Dr. Rick Postel, he has never seen something like this. 2 strong tornadoes on the ground at the same time, just miles from each other, from the same supercell thunderstorm, and that's what we're dealing with right now. We definitely are still dealing with tornado warnings getting closer to including the Sioux Falls, Iowa area.
That's right.
You're now under a tornado warning for this, but it's not just tornadoes. We also have strong damaging winds with this thunderstorm, as well as a golf ball to 2-inch size hail as well.
Yeah, that's enough to do a lot of damage too. So here we're looking at the radar, and the thunderstorm we're talking about, the supercell, right there along the Missouri River. You see about ready to cross it around Sioux City. Sioux Falls also has thunderstorms, very heavy rain with this, but we're looking here at Sioux City now under a tornado warning, at least right now. Maybe the southern suburbs really under the threat here. Dakota, Union, Woodbury counties under severe tornado warnings at this time.
And reading into his chat, looks like from a storm spotter, rotating wall cloud 3 miles east of Pender, Nebraska. And this is in Thurston County. And it looks like a tornado appears imminent about 5 miles to the northwest. So again, if you're in Thurston County, Pender, Nebraska, talking about 1,000 people in that town, according to the census. So again, you need to be in your underground shelter. That's the safest place for you. We've had long-lived and strong tornadoes doing damage, potentially even 3 at one time doing damage with these cells that are rolling on through there. You can see you have a live stream right now from, this is near Pilger, Nebraska. You can see the darkling clouds. I think this is still, this storm chaser here is trying to come upon some of the damage. We had reports of catastrophic damage in Pilger, Nebraska, with possible multiple injuries as well.
Right, and you know, it's possible some of these tornadoes could be rated as high as an EF3 or higher that moved through northeastern Nebraska right now. And so the tornado chaser is stopped right now, possibly looking at some of the damage. This is the radar. This is the one supercell that has caused all the problems here in northeastern Nebraska. Just one thunderstorm that actually has produced a tornado probably for over the last hour and a half to 2 hours. We've been following this one.
Look at the timing of this, heading into Emerson basically right now. If we can pull that radar back up full so we can definitely read the warning times here. Homer about 5:27, Sioux City 5:50. They have to remember we're going through a lot of weather before we get to the back end of this cell, which has the tornadoes. So we're talking about 70-mile-per-hour winds, a possible 2-inch hail possible, slightly larger than golf ball size hail. Very torrential rain coming down as well. From time to time, these tornadoes are rain wrapped. They go from LP to HP, meaning low precip to high precip. Basically, heavy rain to no rain tornadoes.
Right. As a matter of fact, Paul, we've had some reports earlier in South Dakota of rainfall rates of a ½ inch in 3 minutes. That's almost 10 inches per hour. So tremendous rain, flooding a concern, and the threat for tornadoes. Sioux Rapids, a tornado warning for you in Iowa. This is Clay County until 5:30 Central Time.
And stay with the Weather Channel. We'll keep you ahead of these storms. We're on all night to keep you ahead of this threatening situation across the Midwest and the Plains.
Presenting the science behind Behr's most advanced exterior paint and primer ever. Behr Marquee. In competitive tests, Behr came out on top. The tough non-stick surface resists dirt buildup. The advanced UV protection makes the color last longer. Behr makes the beauty yours to keep. With Behr Marquee. Exclusively at the Home Depot. Good, better, Behr.
Introducing Behr Marquee Exterior Paint and Primer. Resists dirt and protects against UV fading.
At Lincoln Financial, we believe that you're the boss of your life, the chief life officer. You're in charge of spontaneous weekends and enjoying a well-planned retirement. Lincoln Financial gives you the financial solutions you need to take charge every step of the way. Ask your financial advisor today how we can help. Life, income, retirement, group benefits, and advice. Lincoln Financial, you're in charge.
My dad has atrial fibrillation, or AFib. He has the most common kind. It's not caused by a heart valve problem. Dad, it says your AFib puts you at 5 times greater risk of a stroke.
That's why I take my warfarin every day.
But it looks like maybe we should ask your doctor about Pradaxa.
In a clinical trial, Pradaxa dabigatran etexylate mesylate was proven superior to warfarin at reducing the risk of stroke, and unlike warfarin, with no regular blood tests or dietary restrictions.
Hey, thanks for calling my doctor.
Sure.
Pradaxa is not for people with artificial heart valves. Don't stop taking Pradaxa without talking to your doctor. Stopping increases your risk of stroke. Ask your doctor if you need to stop Pradaxa before surgery or a medical or dental procedure. Pradaxa can cause serious, sometimes fatal bleeding. Don't take Pradaxa if you have abnormal bleeding or have had a heart valve replaced. Seek immediate medical care for unexpected signs of bleeding, like unusual bruising. Pradaxa may increase your bleeding risk if you're 75 or older, have a bleeding condition or stomach ulcer, take aspirin, NSAIDs, or blood thinners, or if you have kidney problems, especially if you take certain medicines. Tell your doctors about all medicines you take. Pradaxa's side effects include indigestion, stomach pain, upset, or burning. If you or someone you love has AFib not caused by a heart valve problem, ask your doctor about reducing the risk of stroke with Pradaxa.
Thank you, Daddy, for defending our country.
Thank you for your sacrifice, and thank you for your bravery.
Thank you, Colonel.
Thank you, Daddy.
Military families are uniquely thankful for many things. The legacy of USAA Auto Insurance can be one of them. If you're a current or former military member or their family, get an auto insurance quote and see why 92% of our members plan to stay for life.
Mesothelioma victims and their loved ones may be entitled to a cash award from the $18 billion in asbestos trust funds, and you may not have to file a lawsuit to qualify. If diagnosed with mesothelioma or lung cancer caused by exposure to asbestos, call the number on your screen now. Even if a loved one had mesothelioma or asbestos lung cancer and has passed, your family may still be entitled to a cash award. Mesothelioma is a rare cancer caused by exposure to asbestos. Many victims worked in the Navy or in shipyards, mills, carpentry, roofing, insulation, construction, or automotive industries. For over 30 years, our legal team has successfully helped thousands of victims and families. Time is limited. You may not have to file a lawsuit. If your loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma or lung cancer caused by exposure to asbestos, please call 1-855-266-2838 now. That's 1-855-266-2838.
America's Morning Headquarters with Sam Champion.
Not just a morning forecast, a morning show.
AMHQ with Sam Champion, the Weather Channel's brand new morning show.
Currently in our area, 92 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 69. Winds south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday, mainly clear. High 92. Winds south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live. We're looking at pictures of tornadoes we were tracking earlier right here on Weather Center Live. At a time, you can see the bottom left of your screen, we had 2 tornadoes on the ground at the same time, literally within 3 miles of each other. And unfortunately, they got pretty strong and they were destructive.
Yeah, bottom left, you can see the 2 tornadoes at one time. Just an incredible sight. One that we have never seen before on live television. 2 tornadoes, distinct ones, side by side like that, both doing significant damage. And this is, by the way, from all one supercell thunderstorm that has done this. And again, catastrophic damage being reported in the town of Pilger here tonight.
Yeah, Pilger, Stanton, Wisner, all towns and villages in eastern Nebraska that have been impacted with this. And along that catastrophic damage, reports of multiple injuries also in Pilger, Nebraska.
And you know, in the last hour, we've seen some incredible destruction that this tornado can cause. But how powerful can a tornado get? Well, Dr. Forbes shows us their true force.
It's amazing to see some of the things that a tornado can do. Maybe it shouldn't surprise us, considering that some tornadoes can have horizontal winds over 200 miles per hour and extremely strong updrafts that can pick things up. One of the things that we see a lot are tractor trailers that get tossed about. At about 15 tons empty, that's pretty impressive. Let's freeze this, and I'll talk about how this happens. The tractor trailer is heavy, but it has a lot of surface. It's about 70 feet long, 13 to 14 feet high. That's a lot of area for the winds to blow against, and some of the tornado winds can get underneath. They can go upwards 100 miles per hour, lift up the tractor trailer, even make it fly. Now I'm going to show you something not as big, not as heavy, but I consider even more impressive. Look at these parking blocks. They weigh 300 pounds, and it's hard to imagine how the wind can get under them. It must take winds that are extremely strong, just within inches of the ground, to be able to begin to roll these, and then it can pick them up and toss them through the air. In most tornadoes, we think the fastest winds are really about 50 feet above ground. Blocks like these got tossed up to 50 yards. Finally, let me show you something that I consider even more incredible. Some tornadoes have even been known to scour soil right out of the ground. It's hard to understand how that could happen. You can reach down and try to pull some out with your hands, but you'll just tear up some grass. It's difficult even enough to shovel soil out of the ground. We even saw dirt get pulled out of the ground in the EF5 Smithville, Mississippi tornado back on April 27, 2011. Maybe a trench up to the width of a football field and 2 feet deep. It even tore asphalt out of a roadway surface. How do we think this can happen? A combination of wind force and pressure force. Wind force, winds unusually low right down to the ground to push on the soil, while there's a pressure force, maybe a moisture layer underneath that got vaporized pushing upward, while low pressure in the tornado pulled upward and popped the sod right out of the ground.
All right, great information, Dr. Forbes. And we're still tracking severe weather here in eastern Nebraska. Again, Thurston County under a tornado warning. And this is the same cell which we showed you the video of at least 2 tornadoes at one time. Reports of even 3 at one time from the same cell being produced. And Paul, we can't stress this enough, emphasize it enough. Get to your shelter now. The lowest level of your room, an interior room, or level of your home, interior room. Stay away from the windows, because this is possibly what may be heading towards you. So if you're in Winnebago, even Sioux City, Iowa, again, you have to remember, you're going to go through a lot of bad weather before you possibly get to the tornadic part of this thunderstorm. We're talking 60, 70 mile per hour winds, rain coming down sideways at maybe rates of 2 or 3 inches per hour, but not for the entire hour, but coming down that heavy, and golf ball size hail or larger coming down with us. Plenty of lightning as well, and you might not see the tornado. It at times has been wrapped in rain. And Spencer, Iowa, also under a tornado warning, and you guys take cover now in Clay County. This is until 5:30 Central Time. We'll have more expert analysis of the threat as we head through the evening, and also just try to find a look at what's going on right now on the ground, coming up right after your local on the 8s.
This is what men do to try to get every hair. This is what we do. Introducing Fusion Pro Glide, rebuilt with FlexBall technology. Makes maximum contact over tricky contours and gets virtually every hair. New FlexBall for the Fusion Pro Glide. Gillette, the best a man can get.
It was the best day. It was the best day. It was the best day. It was the best day because of you.
We make a great pair,
Huh?
Progressive and the great outdoors. We make a great pair.
Right, totally. That's what I was thinking.
Covering the things that make the outdoors great. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
What makes Florida's natural orange juice taste so uniquely fresh and delicious? Is it the rich Florida soil or the perfect blend of sunshine, rain, and temperature? Maybe it's the fact that Florida's natural oranges are never imported. They're raised right here in Florida and passed with care from our hands to yours. 100% pure, 100% Florida. Florida's natural. Try our new citrus smoothies in the chilled juice section next to our orange juice.
It says here that a woman's sex drive increases at the age of 80.
Helps reduce the risk of heart disease.
Keep heart healthy. Live long. Eat the 100% goodness of post-shredded wheat. Doctors recommend it.
Summer days drifting away to all those summer nights. Tell me more.
Twizzlerize your summer fun with Twizzlers, the twists you can't resist.
Don't miss Red Lobster's new Lobster Toppers event. 4 entrees starting at just $15.99. Like our new Lobster Top Wood Grilled Shrimp or the new Lobster Top Lobster. And now, for lunch, try our new Lobster Tacos, just $9.99. And soon, so hurry in.
I'm a painter, and Scotch Blue is my tape.
I am a painter, and Scotch Blue is my tape.
Pro painters count on Scotch Blue. Now with advanced Edge-Lock Paint Line Protector for even sharper paint lines.
I am a painter, and Scotch Blue is my tape.
Scotch Blue Painter's Tape.
People join Angie's List for all kinds of reasons.
I go to Angie's List to gauge whether or not the projects will be done in a timely fashion and within budget.
Angie's List members can tell you which provider is the best in town.
You'll find reviews on everything from home repair to healthcare.
Now that we're expecting, I like the fact I can go onto Angie's List and look for pediatricians.
The service providers that I've found on Angie's List actually have blown me away.
Find out why more than 2 million members count on Angie's List. Angie's List. Reviews you can trust.
Currently in our area, 92 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 69. Winds south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday, mainly clear. High 92. Winds south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
The Weather Channel's new morning show.
It all starts with the weather.
America's morning headquarters with Sam Champion. Weekday mornings at 7, only on the Weather Channel.
You're watching Weather Center Live. We are Tornado Central, and this is what we've been watching for the last hour and a half. Tornadoes, which have been on the ground for almost that long here in eastern Nebraska, and we still have the threat of tornadoes heading on towards the Sioux City, Iowa.
And what is significant, Paul, you look in the southwestern part of your screen, the bottom left, 2 tornadoes at one time, 2 very distinct separate tornadoes doing damage, something that none of us, at least here at the Weather Channel, at least me, you, and Dr. Postel, we've never seen this before. Check this out. Yeah. Incredible.
One has already passed across the highway. The one on the right is about to pass over the highway. The amazing thing is people driving the road didn't stop until, you know, it was almost on top of them. And again, these weren't just, you know, some rope tornadoes or weak. These are strong, damaging tornadoes already doing damage. Reports of catastrophic damage in Pilger, Nebraska, with reports of multiple injuries.
And you saw a lot of debris that was being thrown here on that western or the left one here earlier, as you can see, as this tornado chaser was driving by. And check it out. You could see the damage. Somebody's home. We've had reports of homes being destroyed and buildings, and how sad. It just breaks your heart knowing this is somebody's home or this is their business. It's being destroyed.
Yeah, and this is eastern Nebraska. There's a lot of farmland here, but unfortunately that means farm buildings, farm houses, and there are still plenty of towns there that have populations between a couple of hundred to about 1,500 as well. And it is eventually moving into the Missouri River Valley close to Sioux City, Iowa.
All right, tornado chasers have been out there all day today. Reed Timmer is on the phone with us right now, and he is in Pilger, Nebraska. Reed, tell us about some of the damage you're seeing.
Hey guys, it's really bad here at Pilger. Almost every single building that we've seen is destroyed. We've pulled out 2 people with severe injuries from their basement. Mostly they were head injuries. It looks like a lot of cuts and lacerations. We went to the house. We're screaming for, but it's a really bad situation down there. The emergency vehicles have the situation under control, but it was 2 large tornadoes.
All right, looks like we lost Reed Timmer there, but again, he is in the town of Pilger, Nebraska, and he is reporting and confirming our reports of catastrophic damage there, and people have been injured. Again, him and his crew pulled out 2 people from their below-ground shelter.
Right. So they did the right thing, right?
And looking at the video of this, strong, large, damaging, violent tornadoes on the ground, underground is the safest place for you. If you're watching us from Sioux City, Iowa, you could potentially see this coming your way. That's why you're you're still under that tornado warning. Again, the supercell is not nearly as large, but it still doesn't mean that we are tornado free with this at all. So the threat remains. Again, you're going through a lot of weather before you get to the tornadic part of that thunderstorm, which is the southwest side of it.
And Paul, you know, as we showed you and we've heard from Reed Timmer, that folks were seriously injured even in their basement. So that's why we're concerned that this could be a large violent tornado that even underground may not be totally safe. So you really have to make sure you put many walls between you and the outside as possible and get to the lowest level of your home, and do it now.
Yeah, when you do that, make sure you put shoes on yourself and the kids. If you have bike helmets or a football helmet, lacrosse helmet, whatever it is, something to protect your head in case things in the upper floors start to cave in on you when you're underground. But again, another important thing is to have the shoes on there, because if something does happen, you might have to step over broken glass, nails, etc., to try to get out of your house after the storm has passed. So we put the timeline on here in Sioux City. We're still talking about just after 6 o'clock. So we have another half hour for you to make your evacuation plan. If you can, evacuate. Go north or go south or go, but whatever you do, do not go west or southwest. That is deeper into the rain, the hail core of this storm as well, and eventually the possible tornado. And again, this cell has produced at least 3 tornadoes. One storm spotter said they saw 3 at one time from this one supercell.
That's incredible. And if you live in a mobile home, you need to get to a safe place now. So if you're in Sioux City, you have a little bit of time to do that. So please get to your safe shelter as we speak. Again, this is what we saw earlier from this thunderstorm. 2 tornadoes at one time. That's the bottom left on your screen that you're seeing. The large one off to the left, that was the one doing a lot of damage near Stanton, I believe that was earlier. And then you can see just different images from different chasers out there following these tornadoes.
And this is when the lead storm was crossing Highway 275, and the one behind it also crossed over. At this time, this is the state where we saw 2 large violent tornadoes side by side here. Again, not one showing to be weaker or stronger than the other. They both are strong and violent and damaging.
And you know, I just remember an image, I think Wichita Falls from a long time ago had twin tornadoes like this too, and I haven't seen anything like this since then. But tornado warning right now, folks. We want to update you in Iowa. New tornado warning for you in Palo Alto County under a tornado warning. And Paul, you mentioned earlier, with this supercell, not only the concern in some cases of tornadoes, but also hail. You know, we've had up to almost 2.5-inch diameter hail with this.
Yeah, reports of easily golf ball to 2-inch diameter. The golf ball is 1.75, but again, the radar sometimes overestimates the size of this, but we've had ground confirmation of golf ball to slightly larger than golf ball size hail with these thunderstorms. And now we're also watching possible tornadoes with cells north and east of here into western Iowa, Palo Alto County in Iowa under a tornado warning as well. That's until 6:15 local time. But even though that storm that is threatening Sioux City has weakened somewhat, Kim, there is still a tornado warning for it.
That's right. So please take it seriously. Sometimes they go through like we call cycle, some kind of a cycle where it'll weaken for a little bit, then it also gets a tornado forming again.
And this is live right now from just south of Sioux City. Looks like there's definitely a funnel cloud there, and people see funnel clouds and don't think they're tornadoes, but sometimes you don't see the winds that are actually being spun up on the ground. So you need to treat funnel clouds the same respect that you need to treat tornadoes with, and give it a wide berth. That is definitely a funnel cloud there.
Right. A good point there. We have, I believe, Ben McMillan with us right now, who's been watching this. And Ben, what do you have for us?
We are on 35. It's the road that runs from southwest to northeast into the South Sioux City and Dakota City area in Nebraska, and then, of course, into the larger Sioux City metro in Iowa. And this couplet in circulation is heading for this large metropolitan area, so will you please, if you're in that area, take cover. I mean, this is still a very dangerous circulation.
So have you seen the tornado circulation continue there, the rotation within the thunderstorm?
Yep, it stopped rotating. It stopped rotating as fast as it had been rotating, but it's definitely still dangerous, and it's kind of cycling. We're worried it's going to increase in intensity here. You saw some of those funnel clouds, which is definitely an example of that.
And have you seen any kind of hail or wind damage? I mean, have you heard of any of that with this thunderstorm as well?
We haven't actually.
All right, looks like we just lost him. And again, a big thank you for all the chasers out there trying to give us this video here. And typically they get the video and the voice to us through the cell phone networks. But again, the video has a priority, and that's what we're getting right now. Looks like, again, we're stopping the video for a second just because of the feed. But again, these chasers try to stay south of the storm. So the tornado is just to the north of them. And we've been watching them take turns away from it. We lose the picture for a little while, but again, they want to stay safe as well because they know where the most dangerous part of that thunderstorm is, and it continues to be moving towards Sioux City and even South Sioux City and even Sergeant Bluff. All these cities are right along the Missouri River.
Another tornado warning now for Emmett and Kossuth counties here. It looks like coming into Iowa and just to the north, and very strong winds. Looks like the rear flank downdraft too, kind of bowing out there on the southern end. That indicates very strong winds. So we could see 60 to 70 mile per hour winds coming into Elmore very soon, but also where that little notch is, that's possibly where there is a tornado. And if you live in Martin County, you guys need to take cover immediately. Get to the lowest level of your home. An interior room, stay away from the windows. This is heading towards Blue Earth. If you live there, right there along 90, take cover immediately. Stay off of 90 right now. If you have travel plans out of Rochester, out of Austin, stay off the interstate system as this line moves by.
Again, right now, just rain for the Twin Cities. We're talking about southern areas of Minnesota into areas of northern Iowa at this time. As we slide a little farther to the south and west, we're still watching the Sioux City area. This thunderstorm is pretty much right over the city right now. We had a report of winds gusting over 40 miles per hour at the airport within the last 30 minutes now, and you can see it's bearing down across the area. I'm very curious to know what the airport's reporting right now. It looks like they're getting into the thick of it, but still Dakota and Woodbury counties under tornado warnings right now. And again, Winnebago, you're almost out of this cell, but still Sioux City, Iowa. We're talking about Sergeant Bluff, Dakota City, South Sioux City. These are all areas which are pretty much in that target zone right now. You're probably under the heavy rain, and right around Hubbard, looks like where we have that strongest rotation, and this is not nearly as strong as it was, say, an hour ago, hour and a half ago, but it is still showing rotation. This cell has produced multiple tornadoes, at least 3. Right. And many of those, Kim, they were on the ground for well over a half hour. Yeah, way too long, that is for sure. And what's interesting is that it does look like it's not as large as it was, this supercell, but also kind of relocating where the hook echo is with this. It's more on the northern end and kind of wrapping in. So now, where earlier we thought maybe Sioux City might not be hit by this, it does look like now that rotation is in the northwestern part of the storm, and Sioux City now is in line to have this tornado possibly hit them. So if you're in Sioux City, take cover immediately. At 6:09 is where we're expecting it to be very close to your city. Now is the time to get to your safe room, get the kids in, get to your safe room, get the helmets on the kids, get your shoes on. Good point, Paul. A lot of folks, you know, walk around the house barefoot, but get the shoes on. It's very important that you protect your feet as well. And for the last 2 hours or even more, this was the only game in town, but as it gets closer and closer to that line of thunderstorms pushing out of southern Minnesota and out of southeastern areas of South Dakota, perhaps it's trying to rob some of the inflow here, so perhaps it is weakening slightly, but it is still a huge threat here for areas around Sioux City, South Sioux City, the Sergeant Bluff area in Dakota City, as well as Hubbard. Looks like you could be right close to that circulation and that possible tornado as we are witnessing right now, and also plenty of lightning and heavy rain with these cells. And we are expecting with this line, Paul, what we call a mesoscale convective system to develop, and we're going to track this for many hours tonight. So even if you're in western parts of Wisconsin, northeastern Iowa, this line of storms going to come through you a couple hours from now, but just something to watch before you go to bed. Check it out, and we'll let you know where that severe weather is. And we can see right now where the forecast is for eastern Iowa later tonight and also into western parts of Wisconsin. And also don't be surprised, Milwaukee, even Chicago, you could see some storms overnight into early tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow, we go through this again as we still have more thunderstorms popping up. Some could be on the severe side as well. And our Torcon from South Dakota, a 30% chance of seeing tornadoes. Areas of central and southern Minnesota, also a 30% chance of seeing tornadoes. And into Wisconsin, another 30% chance of seeing tornadoes within 50 miles of that region. And then it goes farther east, looks like into tomorrow, into parts of the eastern Ohio Valley, including most of Pennsylvania. Erie, Buffalo, you guys might see severe as well. We want to show you, though, if you're just joining us and not aware of what happened here in the last hour or so in northeastern Nebraska, look at this video.
chasers were out here following this tornado, and actually 2 tornadoes, Paul, on the bottom left.
Let's pop up that top left box here of the damage, because you're seeing a tornado and damage there in the foreground. Apparently, the damage in the foreground was done by the first tornado, and then the second tornado comes almost over the exact same ground as the first one did. So this is the second tornado. You already saw some of the damage earlier piece of that video of silos being almost sawed in half, trees being snapped from the top there, and plenty of debris. Looks like there were either homes or buildings that were damaged, if not totally destroyed. And we had storm chaser Reed Timmer say he's in Pilger, Nebraska right now, and they came upon that town. He is saying catastrophic damage he is witnessing, and people have been injured. In fact, they pulled 2 people from their their home's basement as they got there in town, and aid is needed in that area right now.
Just amazing images we're seeing, especially in the bottom of this screen. And we're going to show you some of the damage. Check this out that we're getting in right now out of Pilger, Nebraska. Wow. This is compliments of Reed Timmer, who's out there right now.
You can definitely see. It looks like don't know if those are tornadoes in the background.
It looks like it, both of them.
And you can still see homes have been flattened there. We're hoping that there was no one in those structures at the time, or if they were below ground, because I wouldn't quite say they were EF5, but maybe in that EF3 range, but definitely homes have been destroyed. Looks like well-built homes have been destroyed there. You can even see what looks like tree branches. There are no leaves. This is the middle of June. Trees usually have full canopy of leaves. The leaves and maybe even the bark of some of those trees have been just stripped off.
And we're getting reports now in Hubbard, Nebraska. A tornado is now on the ground, possibly doing damage in the town of Hubbard. If you are in Hubbard, seek shelter now. And if you are in Sioux City, this is going to be heading towards you. So report now in Hubbard, maybe just starting to leave the town now, but this is heading towards Sioux City. If you're in Dakota and Woodbury counties, now is the time to get to your shelter. This is until 6 o'clock Central Time. If, again, Sioux City, this is right in line for your city. It could take a direct hit, possibly, if it does hold together this long. And this has actually had a history of producing several tornadoes for the last 2 hours. So this supercell still producing tornadoes tonight.
Talking Hubbard, Nebraska right now. Jackson, Nebraska. You need to be underground or away from that area. Dakota City, South Sioux City. And we cross the river here into Sioux City, Iowa, and then into Sergeant Bluff, Iowa. Again, you have seen the damage here. Now reports just to the west of you in Hubbard of tornado doing damage as well. So again, this supercell is not done producing damage. So again, now is the time to either get underground, evacuate to your shelter, or you need to get well north of this, or you should have been north of there already. If you're on Highway 35 or Highway 20 moving into Interstate 129 and that stretch of I-29 as it moves around the Missouri River through Sioux City, if you know someone traveling and they need to get off the road immediately, because that's a north and south interstate, we got a lot of strong gusty winds blasting on through there. If you don't get the tornado, you might get 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts.
And what's concerning, Paul, is it's coming in at rush hour traffic, right? So this is going to be very dangerous. It's one of those images you have in your mind of folks stuck in traffic and a tornado moving across the interstate. So please, if you are at your workplace right now, I would say get to your safe place at your workplace. Do not venture out of the interstate system right now until this passes. So if you're in Sioux City, we're looking at 6:08 is when the tornado should be passing through.
I know we've shown some incredible video of tornadoes, but don't think that, oh, hey, I can see it coming. I saw the video on the Weather Channel. At times, these tornadoes have been wrapped in rain, an HP cell, meaning you cannot see it. And on top of that, you're going through a lot of weather. You're going through the wind, then the rain, maybe even the hail, and then the tornado could or could not be wrapped in rain, and you will not see it or even hear it coming because of the intense rain associated with this supercell thunderstorm.
And this is the same thunderstorm that'll be producing the tornado possibly hitting Sioux City that you're seeing images of that produced tornadoes earlier in Stanton and Pilger here in Nebraska, where we do have reports of many injuries and catastrophic damage to some of these homes. So again, if you are in Sioux City, we can't urge you enough to please take cover now. Get to the lowest level of your home interior room. You stay away from the windows, turn off the television, get to your safe room now.
Again, looking at the video from earlier this afternoon, again, this has been going on for at least an hour and 45 minutes, maybe even close to 2 hours now. This supercell thunderstorm producing at one time 3 tornadoes at the same time, according to one of the storm spotters. We have witnessed, like we're showing you here in the bottom left of your screen, 2 tornadoes on the ground. We have the stronger one on the left and the weaker one just beginning to form there, and eventually both grow to strong, violent tornadoes at the same time. I believe this is near Stanton earlier. This is crossing Highway 275 here in Nebraska. You can see that's a strong tornado crossing the highway there, and then just to the right, now we have an even strengthening and a growing tornado. There you go. And even that one is about to cross the highway as well. Ongoing at the same time, 2 strong, violent, damaging tornadoes.
Let's go ahead and recap the tornado warnings right now if we could, Sean. Let's go ahead and show you what the radar looks like. For folks in Sioux City, or if you know anybody there, this tornado should be reaching you within the next probably 15 minutes. Right now, Sioux City under a tornado warning. Dakota County, that includes you, Woodbury, Union, Plymouth County as well, getting into now, looks like into Wisconsin and also into Iowa. So all of you should be taking cover now as this tornado that has been reported in Hubbard, Nebraska, the very northeastern part of Nebraska, continues to possibly produce damage. I haven't seen reports of damage, but doesn't mean it's not happening.
Yeah, we had already scenes of damage. This is from Pilger, Nebraska, of homes being demolished. Reports of catastrophic damage in that town and multiple injuries. We're back right after your local on the 8s.
Discover Brookside and discover an exciting combination of tastes. Rich, dark chocolate covering soft centers, flavored with exotic fruit juices. It's chocolate and fruit flavors like you've never experienced before. Discover Brookside.
Sealy Posturepedic Hybrid, the contouring comfort of cooling gel memory foam in the top half, and the deep down support of titanium alloy springs underneath, making it perfect for everyone.
This 4th of July, get a free box spring with the purchase of any Sealy Posturepedic Hybrid mattress.
America's Morning Headquarters with Sam Champion.
Not just a morning forecast, a morning show.
AMHQ with Sam Champion, the Weather Channel's brand new morning show.
Currently in our area, 92 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 69. Winds south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday, mainly clear. High 92. Winds south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
When you're ready,
ServPro, how can we help?
help gets there faster. The cleanup specialists at 1-800-ServPro and ServPro.com. Helping make fire and water damage like it never even happened.
Anna.
Now every stop is an opportunity to save gas. And maybe someone's day. Introducing the new fuel-efficient 2014 Malibu with stop-start technology. The car for the richest guys on Earth.
Start your summer off right and get $2,000 customer cash on every 2014 Chevy Malibu.
I won this 55-inch TV for less than $30 on DealDash.com.
I got this $1,200 computer for $100.71.
These aren't actors, they're real people who got real savings at Deal-com, the fair and honest bidding site. At Deal-com, you can save up to 99%, but hurry, everything must go.
And shipping is always free.
Visit Deal-com and start bidding today.
Your mom could do anything. Defy gravity. Find hidden treasure. Make rainbows appear. Now she could use a hand so she can keep living on her own. Comfort Keepers can help you help her. Our professional caregivers are carefully chosen and highly trained to provide a variety of in-home services while truly engaging with your aging loved ones so they can stay happy at home. Comfort Keepers, keeping the comforts of home. Call Comfort Keepers now to learn more.
The Weather Channel's new morning show.
It all starts with the weather.
America's morning headquarters with Sam Champion. Weekday mornings at 7, only on the Weather Channel.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live, and take a look at this picture from storm chaser Reed Timmer. He's in Pilger, Nebraska, and that town has suffered catastrophic damage, and there are multiple injuries as well, as we've had at least one, possibly even 2 tornadoes go through this town.
And Paul, if you look at this image, just an incredible image, and this one I will never forget, looking at the damage in the forefront and the 2 tornadoes behind it. Never have I seen anything like this. This is an incredible picture. Unfortunately, it did a lot of damage to this town, and we're getting reports of even maybe serious injuries from this.
We're definitely concerned with where this storm is going right now. Possible tornado approaching the Sioux City, Iowa area.
Right.
For the very latest, let's get to our storm specialist, Dr. Greg Postel. Greg?
Yeah, thanks, Paul and Kim. Let's look at the radar right now and show you these storms, these ferocious storms now across parts of eastern Nebraska and western Iowa. Right now, zooming in on tornadic storms that are getting very close to the Sioux City, Iowa area. Right in here, guys. There's now a couple of tornado warnings out for that vicinity. Let's zoom in, Sarah, and show you where we're talking about. And this storm, certainly some heavy rain and likely some hail now is getting into the Sioux City, certainly the southern suburbs there. And this tornado warning is in effect for Plymouth, Union, and Woodbury counties until about 6 o'clock. Certainly the Dakota and Woodbury counties are at risk there for a tornado warning until now 6:30 p.m. Central Time. So this storm right now moving through the Sioux City area. This is the same thunderstorm, the same supercell thunderstorm that produced the damage and those incredible pictures from eastern Nebraska an hour ago. And there has been a confirmed tornado with this one still an hour later near Jackson, Nebraska. You can see on the reflectivity, which shows us the motions toward and away from the radar. The circulation, guys, is in here. Sarah, if you can go back, there it is, right there. The blue and the greens are the motions toward the radar, and the reds are the motions away from the radar. So that is where the circulation is. There was a confirmed tornado in Jackson about 15 minutes ago, and now that same circulation is moving toward the northeast and is getting into Sioux City now. So somewhere between Sioux City and North Sioux City, I would imagine that the mesocyclone still associated with the supercell will be passing through. Keep an eye on that. Take cover if you live in those areas. And also there's going to be a lot of heavy rain and likely some hail just to the south of where that mesocyclone goes. And this is the track of where possibly the tornadic part of the storm will be moving over the next, say, half an hour to an hour. So if you live in, for example, in obviously Sioux City, but even in Hinton and places everywhere in between, right along Highway 75, take cover, because this storm has had a long history of producing violent tornadoes and is potentially still producing a tornado right very near Sioux City. There's more weather out across Iowa and Minnesota right now, so let's get to some of that. We've got now some actually, we have a tornado warning for Palo Alto County here, and that is in Iowa until 6:15 p.m. Central Time. Now, right now on the reflectivity right out here, guys, you see that? It looks pretty messy on this picture. You sort of get a general sense that there is a little bit of a hook in there on the reflectivity, the rain that is showing up on the radar. But if you look inside of the storm at the velocity scan, there's some pretty strong circulations in there, right in there. So if there is indeed a tornado with this storm, it is likely just to the southwest of Emmitsburg, moving toward the east-northeast at about 35 miles per hour. Again, so that would be right in there. That would be where the tornado is hiding and probably surrounded by a lot of rain, as you can see on this reflectivity image. So we're showing you the radar returns from the rain and the hail, and those almost completely encircle the strongest circulation inside of that supercell. So this is one of the characteristics with these storms that I think we're going to see more and more of, is that they will become rain-wrapped, very difficult, if not impossible to see until the tornadic part moves over you. So take cover if you live in some of these locations. For example, Cylinder, Whitmore, and Lots Creek here over the next up to an hour. So we've seen long-lived storms, supercells, for the last couple of hours. There's no reason to suspect that the ones that we'll see for the next couple of hours won't last more than a half an hour, or perhaps even longer than that. So here again are some other tornado warnings here in Kossuth and Palo Alto counties until 6:30 p.m. And we can continue to go up the lines here if we can. And look at this now. This is getting over into southern Minnesota, just to the west of Albert Lea, Minnesota, near Blue Earth. We have a severe thunderstorm warning, but I can tell you right now that this one's got some destructive winds with it. This radar is bowing out like that, and you can see right along the leading edge, right in here, where you see the change from green to yellow. That's the gust front right in there, and that is going to be working its way eastward along I-90. So this is going to be a long night of bad weather, guys, including some tornadoes and I think a lot of high winds. So definitely stay tuned throughout the night for all the coverage with the storms going all the way from parts of Nebraska and Iowa into Minnesota. We'll have much more coming up at the top of the hour, so stay tuned.
Currently in our area, 92 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 69. Winds south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday, mainly clear. High 92. Winds south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Right now, particularly dangerous situation. Strong wording from the National Weather Service on tonight's storm threat. In fact, we've already seen multiple tornado vortices in the Stanton and Pilger areas. This video right here, you can see, was taken around 4:30 Central Time. Amazing footage. We've been getting into the Weather Channel. We're hearing reports of some extremely bad damage in Pilger. And we're extending our coverage to keep you ahead of the storm threat here on Weather Center Live because of scenes we've been seeing like this. This is raw video near Pilger, which basically means it's unedited. And we're looking at, you can see at times, some debris being thrown up into the air. And it looks like on the back side of this, or to the right of this, another tornado looking to form. And eventually it does. An amazing, amazing afternoon. And we are staying with you not only through this hour, but the next hour nationally. You will not be seeing your regularly scheduled programming coming up after this hour because we have extended our live coverage to keep track of this severe weather threat that we are following tonight. Let's take a look at the watches right now, where there is that threat for more severe weather, particularly dangerous situation from the National Weather Service. That's their wording. Tornado watch in effect until 10 o'clock Central Time for this portion of Nebraska, where we have seen some of these very strong storms. Then into Iowa, parts of southern Minnesota, and into Wisconsin. Also that tornado threat through the rest of this evening. That is at midnight tonight. and parts of Wisconsin until 1 o'clock in the morning, overnight tonight into 1 o'clock in the morning. This severe weather threat is with us. It is with us right now for this part of the country. Let's go to storm specialist Dr. Greg Postel, who's standing by. He's been tracking these storms all afternoon, now into the evening hours. And Dr. Postel, certainly an amazing afternoon and still a dangerous evening.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, some of the things we saw on radar and in the video today I've never seen before, with two big tornadoes right next to each other on the same supercell that lasted for a long time. Let's have a look at what's going on now in terms of the radar and the warnings that we've got in place, in progress. Let's go to Sioux City, Iowa. In fact, just about 5 minutes ago, we got a report of a tornado sighted just to the north of downtown Sioux City, and the tornado warning does extend for that area until 6:30 p.m. Central Time, and that does include North Sioux City, and South Sioux City. So really you get the idea that this whole area right in here needs to take cover and be prepared for the possible tornado. And looking at the velocity scans here, what we're looking at is the air motions toward and away from the radar, which can tell us where the spin is. And you get the sense that there is a spin right out in here, not far from North Sioux City, Iowa, right in about like that. So be prepared for the possibility of a tornado moving through the area like we've had reported in the last 5 minutes or so. But the good news is overall that this storm does not appear to be as strong as it was, say, an hour ago. Thankfully so, when it had those two giant tornadoes with it simultaneously. But still, we do see evidence that there's broad rotation there, and we've had confirmation of the possible tornado just north of downtown Sioux City. So here's some of the locations that will be impacted by the worst part of the storm, the potentially tornadic part of it, and that does include Sioux City, Springdale, and Wren. Now that gets into Iowa. So really this is moving now northeast. It's moved out of Nebraska, getting into Iowa. So be prepared in those locations for the possibility of some very bad weather moving in. We've got another tornado warning out here in parts of Iowa for Palo Alto County, and that is until 6:15 p.m. Central Time. Now if you look at this radar, you typically look, for those hook echoes for obvious tornadic signatures in the radar, and you don't see it here, or at least not at first glance. There's a lot of little rotation action going on here. I mean, there's no doubt about that. There is one, for example, right in here, some broad rotation, and there's some more out to the west of that, not very far away from Emmitsburg, right up in there. So there may be some brief tornadoes inside of this very rainy thunderstorm that are going to be very hard to see, and so be prepared for that. If you live anywhere in that tornado warning, take cover. That does include places like Emmitsburg and Algona and locations everywhere in between and to the east-northeast or there, because the storm motion now is basically carrying it off toward the east and east-northeast about like that. Let's move up farther up the line, and where we once had a tornado warning in southern Minnesota near Blue Earth, no longer that, but we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for Faribault and Martin counties in Minnesota. And I can tell you what, this has likely some destructive winds in it. See the backward C there, and there's likely some damaging outflow that is moving away from these rain cores in the thunderstorm. So watch out for very strong gusty winds on the leading edge of that, right along and south of I-90 there in southern Minnesota, and northward from there getting into Albert Lea, New Richland, Blooming Prairie, Austin. You're down the line. I mean, it's coming your way. There's no doubt about that. And we can time it. And you can see these locations, Wells, Lake Mills, Albert Lea, all the way to Austin, Minnesota. There is going to be a line of thunderstorms that is going to produce some high winds. I would not be surprised to see 70 to 80 mile-per-hour winds with this. In fact, earlier today in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, there were 96 mile-per-hour wind gusts measured by storm chasers. So this is the same kind of storm system that we're going to be seeing moving through the area, guys. And this is just, part of this whole complex that we're going to see moving through. We have a tornado warning for Blue Earth County until 6:15 p.m. I think this one is going to be allowed to expire, and we'll see a lot more damaging winds with this storm as it moves through. So, Chris, this is going to be a long night ahead, and I think we're going to gradually see now a transition toward a high wind event farther to the north in southern Minnesota. But to the south of there, I think we'll still have that tornado threat in parts of Iowa.
Dr. Postel, thank you. We'll take a closer look at that forecast coming up in a few minutes. But right now, let's go to the phone. Storm chaser Ben McMillan joining us. He recorded some of that amazing tornado video we've been showing you throughout the afternoon. And can you tell us, Ben, where are you right now and what are you seeing?
We're currently driving through downtown Sioux City. It appears at this point the walkout that we're tracking has moved north of the downtown area. However, this is still a significant threat. We'll be tracking this into Iowa as the night continues on.
And Ben, some of the most amazing video we have seen, so many of us here at the Weather Channel. Will you talk about what it was like when you were shooting that amazing footage from a little bit earlier?
Well, I've never seen two tornadoes that were both so violent side by side. Usually, at most, on some of the most severe days in the weather, you might have a satellite tornado rotating around a larger one. Today, I saw two violent tornadoes separate in their own kind of environments, and they're maintaining their strength as they churned across the countryside.
All right, Ben, thank you very much for joining us, and stay safe out there. We'll keep tabs on you throughout the course of the evening. Again, Ben, we were looking at some of the live shots that he is driving around right now in Sioux City, but some of the video from earlier that he was talking about, absolutely amazing. So it is video like this, strong storms, big storms, why we are staying with you tonight for the next couple of hours at least live to help keep you safe here on the Weather Channel. Exclusive expert analysis coming up. Stay with us.
There are cohabitants, and with that comes compromise. We give them a little extra space, accommodate their schedules, and sometimes we have to forgive. But when it comes to their nutrition, we never compromise. It's why at Petco, we're proud to offer Merrick, a leader in grain-free pet food made from regionally sourced ingredients in Merrick's own Texas kitchen to ensure the highest quality. Because for our best companions, only the best will do. Petco, the power of together.
What makes Florida's natural orange juice taste so uniquely fresh and delicious? Is it the rich Florida soil or the perfect blend of sunshine, rain, and temperature? Maybe it's the fact that Florida's natural oranges are never imported. They're raised right here in Florida and passed with care from our hands to yours. 100% pure, 100% Florida. Florida's natural. Try our new citrus smoothies in the chilled juice section next to our orange juice.
The Coasties are back.
She's going down!
And next Monday, the Weather Channel is the only place to find them.
Look off to your starboard side here.
Brave Americans protecting our borders and navigating the graveyard of the Pacific Northwest. Out here, heroes come in waves. Coast Guard, Cape Disappointment, returns next Monday at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 92 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 69. Winds south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday, mainly clear. High 92. Winds south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
America's Morning Headquarters with Sam Champion.
Not just a morning forecast, a morning show.
AMHQ with Sam Champion, the Weather Channel's brand new morning show.
It's your time at Best Western this summer, so enjoy your family time, your breakfast time, and your adventure time. Get a free night for your next time. Stay 3 separate times and get a free night. Book now at bestwestern.com.
That's smooth. Transform your worn weather deck into a beautiful barefoot-friendly surface with Olympic Rescue It wood and concrete resurfacer.
What are you talking about?
Olympic Rescue It, from America's most trusted brand since 1938. Available at Lowe's.
Momentum has a way of quietly exploding onto the scene. The new Ram 1500 Eco Diesel with 28 highway miles per gallon, 420 pound-feet of torque. Guts, glory, Ram.
We're getting some amazing pictures into the Weather Channel. Reed Timmer shared this one on Twitter, and it looks like at the point where there were 2 tornadoes, you can see on the left and to the right, and this looks appears to be damaged. We don't have the full story at this point, but it certainly does look like a damage to some sort of structures. Whether or not these were homes or businesses, we don't know. But again, Reed Timmer, he's one of the storm chasers. He's out there taking a look at these storms, and this is an absolutely amazing picture showing you just what kind of an afternoon it has been. Damage and some amazing storms. Right now, this is where some of the more dangerous storms are right now. This certainly looks like a mess if you're just joining us. There's a lot of lines, so we're going to walk you through here. Sioux City, Iowa, this is a tornado warning for Plymouth and Woodbury counties, including Sioux City. Now, it does look like where the orange and the red is, it does look like that is generally pulling out of and away from Sioux City right now and timing it out for you. You can see some of these cities and the timing for it. Hinton coming up in the next 5 minutes or so, and then Wren at 6:20, Merrill at 6:30, and at 6:43, Lamar's. That's one of the storms. And then the mess over here, and there certainly is a mess. We're highlighting right there, that red outlined area highlighted in white, Palo Alto County, and you can see the cities there potentially impacted by this storm. This is one of the big threats we're following tonight. We have seen some of these very large storms tonight on video, and we will continue to show you that video through the course of this evening. Right now, let's go back to the phone, and joining us live, Nate Rempner. And Nate, thank you very much for joining us. We understand you were on your way home from work today between Norfolk and Nebraska when you saw some of the damage. Can you talk about what that damage looked like and what you've experienced throughout the day today?
What I can say is I heard about the tornado, saw the tornado, and it was about 4 miles north of Stanton on 275, and I could not take a road to a friend that we know, so I took another road, and I saw 3 houses hit, and what the sight was just what Mother Nature can really do to someone's life in such an instant like that. I mean, the trees were debarked, you know, the houses were just totaled, but I probably think one of the craziest things was the family walking down the dirt road and me stopping and just making sure that they were all right, and they were, but it's a scary sight to see.
And how was that family, Nate? How did they respond to you when you asked them?
The first thing they asked, they asked if it was over, and it was past. They were so shocked of what happened, but thankfully they got in their basement in time, and all of them were safe. So.
And what about you? What else have you seen tonight? We see the pictures that you shared with us, but sometimes the picture doesn't always tell the whole story. Is there anything that stood out with you this evening?
Just the devastation of what a tornado can do to someone, and just how it impacted me deeply seeing other people. Fortunately enough, my hometown in Norfolk wasn't hit, but just seeing just a few miles away from my hometown just scares you enough to now be more prepared than anything for storms to hit whenever, and it just really scares you to death.
It certainly does. Nate Rempner, thank you very much for sharing the pictures with us and taking the time to speak with us as well. We certainly appreciate it, and stay safe out there. Right now, we're saying stay safe because we are getting video into the Weather Channel like this. Some very, very dangerous storms tonight. This is a tornado. Again, this is unedited video we're seeing right now here on the Weather Channel near Pilger, Nebraska. It is still a dangerous evening. We're going to take a look at the severe weather threat. Also, we're going to have your tropical update coming up.
Your AC is so not cool.
Yeah, but what can I do about it?
Fix it yourself with AC Pro.
Save time and money recharging your AC with AC Pro.
So we cool?
Way cool.
Everyone's a pro with AC Pro.
AC Pro. Bring back the cold to your car's AC in under 10 minutes.
Peace of mind is important when you're running a business. CenturyLink provides reliable IT services like multi-layered security solutions to keep your information safe and secure. CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
Let's try on a new coat, one that covers better, lasts longer, and protects us from the elements, inside and out. Let's go to the place with the best paint. Take it home for less. Then rock and roll. Let's do the one thing that changes everything. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Behr Premium Plus Ultra Interior starts at $31.98 a gallon.
In 1902, Carrier introduced the world to modern air conditioning, and we've been improving on the idea ever since. So if you're getting the idea to upgrade to a more comfortable, more efficient system, you really ought to think about Carrier. And there's no better time to talk than right now. Get up to 60 months financing with 0% interest on a new home comfort system. Carrier. Turn to the experts.
What's that?
It's Kool-Aid liquid. Squirt some in the water and boom, Kool-Aid.
But you are Kool-Aid.
Well, people get freaked out when you drink from your own head. Like, real freaked out.
Smile. It's Kool-Aid.
It's an instinct that guides us. A passion for performance. That's why we created the Infiniti Q50S with Performance Wheel Package. It has more power and better overall handling and cornering performance than the BMW 335i M Sport Sedan. When you follow your instincts, the results are undeniable. Lease the Infiniti Q50 for $369 a month.
The Coasties are back.
He's going down.
And next Monday, the Weather Channel is the only place to find them.
Look off to your starboard side here.
Brave Americans protecting our borders and navigating the graveyard of the Pacific Northwest. Out here, heroes come in waves. Coast Guard, Cape Disappointment, returns next Monday at 9 on the Weather Channel.
I often think how amazing it is that I am a business owner when I'm definitely not a business guy.
When you believe in something and you want to pursue your dreams, you just have to go for it.
I think owning your own business just makes you feel so much more successful.
We take pride in what we do, but being proud of it is a part of it as well.
So when I design stuff, when I market, it's definitely got to feel like me.
Vistaprint allowed me to create that vision that I had in my mind.
I was able to find a template, then just pop my logo into it.
Vistaprint had all the things that I really needed to be able to market my company.
Your business is your passion. Your marketing materials should reflect that. With Vistaprint, they will. So start putting your passion to work for you with 500 business cards starting at just $9.99. That's right, get 500 cards for just $9.99 when you enter promo code TV500 at Vistaprint.com.
I love my job.
Vistaprint.com.
The Weather Channel's new morning show.
It all starts with the weather.
America's morning headquarters with Sam Champion. Weekday mornings at 7, only on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 90 degrees under fair skies. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 69. Winds south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday, mainly clear. High 92. Winds south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live. We are staying with you this evening, keeping track of that severe weather threat that we have been following all afternoon, now into the evening hours. There is a threat still for tornadoes, also severe thunderstorms, and the potential for flooding as well. Standing by right now with storm specialist Dr. Greg Postel, we have meteorologist Mark Elliott. They're keeping an eye on the very latest. Hi, guys.
Hey, Chris, and you know, we still have a very active afternoon. Several tornado warnings still going. It's been a wild day. Some storms that we've really never seen the likes of before, and a dangerous evening setting up. So let's go through what we're watching right now.
Yeah, we just got a new tornado warning out for central Nebraska, and the reason why we're going to look at this one is because it's forming in an atmosphere out that way that is very, very unstable. This is untapped air with very high humidity levels and warmth near the ground. This storm is huge. Let's go right to it right now, and you can see it is all by itself and moving through the Taylor vicinity in central Nebraska. So if you live in Taylor, Burwell, or Corner, Nebraska, take cover now, because I think this thing has a tornado with it. Not just a warning, possible tornado, but actually one on the ground.
So why does it matter that this area hasn't seen rain so far today?
Well, a lot of times if you have seen rain in an area, that will tend to cool the atmosphere a little bit and bring the instability down a little bit, a notch or two, and that can limit the intensity of thunderstorms. This one is forming out in a place where there hasn't been any storms, so it's been hot and humid all day.
It's been cooking out there.
Cooking, and this thing is ready to go. So this is going to be moving east-northeast. We're thinking about 35 miles per hour. And Sarah, let's have a look at the high-def radar and show you what we're looking at and why this does appear to be pretty ominous. There's a very tight signature in the velocity scan here with the reds and the greens next to each other, Mark.
Yeah.
That's a tight circulation. That is a TVS, tornado vortex signature. So it is very likely producing a tornado right about there.
And so what that means to us is that we have some wind going towards the radar, some moving away, and right next to each other we get that spin.
Right in there is exactly where we think that tornado is, and this is showing up fairly clearly on that normalized rotation. So there's another way to look at this, which kind of puts the rotation in one spot. So this is a kind of a nice way to look at it. That is where the strongest circulation is in that storm, and I think there's a tornado there.
And what about debris? Because the radar can see tumbling things instead of small spherical raindrops. Sometimes debris can, with that irregular shape, will show up on this view of the radar.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is sort of a scan called the correlation coefficient, Mark, and what that means is you're exactly right. You can often see sometimes some blue shades that are sort of isolated in space, and what that means is that the radar is pointing at irregular objects tumbling around, suggesting that there's a debris ball in there. Right now with this one, maybe a little bit of evidence, but it's not so clear.
So there's some blue on there, but it doesn't seem to match up with the best area of rotation. That's important to look at too.
That's exactly right, and we're not seeing that. Perhaps that is because this is moving over open territory, away from any structures or trees or anything like that. But it's got that hook shape to it, Mark. You can see it right in there. There is an inflow notch right in here, and that warm and humid air is getting into the thunderstorm, and the heaviest storm part of the storm, where the hail is, just to the east of Taylor.
So Taylor may be out of the woods with regards to the rotation part of the storm, but the wind and the hail still there.
Yeah, this is a monster of a storm, and as you said, there's more than one hazard with it.
Right.
It's not just the tornado, the likelihood of a tornado. It's got a lot of hail with it. This is the radar estimate of some of the big hail tracks associated with that, and the radar estimates are over 2 inches, and I would not be surprised if this thing has more hail than that based on how unstable the atmosphere is.
And so this is the Nebraska storm, the newest tornado warning. There's been several tornado warnings ongoing from Nebraska into Iowa. And so this is one other that we're still watching.
Yeah, it is. It's a cluster of storms, really, that's in progress now across parts of northern Iowa. There is a tornado warning out for some of these counties until 6:30, but you can see the radar is a giant mess across this region, guys. So anywhere inside that tornado warning, take cover, because you may not see the tornado coming with all the rain.
Chris, back to you.
Thanks, guys. We'll check back with you in just a moment, but we are looking at the threat for more tornadoes like this.
And if I tap my Geico app here, I can pay my bill. Tap it here, digital insurance ID card. And tap it here, boom, roadside assistance.
Okay, Oakley. It's Axwell May.
The egg pay?
Odally Day.
Take an extra pay.
Unfe.
Really? Pig Latin.
Geico. Anywhere, anytime. Just an app pay away on the Geico app A.
Boring! If you want to see your faithful,
He's such a couch potato.
Yeah, just go check out the thing for yourself.
Highlander. Ain't got no room for boring. There's Vertiger, Steve, No, we ain't got no room for boring. For boring, we ain't got no room.
The 2014 Highlander. Toyota.
Let's go places!
everything is ruined.
It's okay. We're ready.
When the things that matter most are on the line, make sure we are too. The Fire and Water Cleanup Team at 1-800-SERVE-PRO. Like it never even happened.
People that would do anything for golf deserve a store that would do anything for golfers. Visit Golfsmith for the largest selection and guaranteed lowest prices. Golfsmith, anything for golf.
Second it.
I'll be back.
When you need more traction, Pep Boys Tires Made Easy process matches your vehicle with the tire that's just right for you. Trust the boys to get you there.
Defiance is in our bones. Defiance never grows old. Citracal Maximum, calcium citrate plus D. Highly soluble, easily absorbed.
The best part of coming together is how delicious it can be. Hershey's S'mores, the unmistakable taste that reminds us that life is delicious.
Growing perfect vine-ripe tomatoes is tough work. For over 80 years, we've handpicked each one to ensure they'll be at the peak of flavor when they're ready to be eaten. And when you put this much into what you grow, you only trust it in the best hands. That's why I work with Walmart. Their produce experts work with me in the fields to make sure you get the freshest tomatoes they've ever had. And they back it up with their 100% money-back guarantee.
Picked by farmers, guaranteed by us. The Coasties are back.
She's going down.
And next Monday, the Weather Channel is the only place to find them.
Look off to your starboard side here.
Brave Americans protecting our borders and navigating the graveyard of the Pacific Northwest. Out here, heroes come in waves. Coast Guard, Cape Disappointment returns next Monday at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 90 degrees under fair skies. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 69. Winds south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday, mainly clear. High 92. Wind south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
America's Morning Headquarters with Sam Champion.
Not just a morning forecast, a morning show.
AMHQ with Sam Champion, the Weather Channel's brand new morning show.
Right now, this is some video of a tornado. You can see the debris being flung into the air. This is in Nebraska near Stanton. This is earlier today, and this is showing just how big and powerful some of the storms we have seen throughout the course of this afternoon. A large tornado with a lot of debris. You can see that debris being flung up into the air as this storm is moving along. This is some of the video we have seen, and eventually there was another tornado about the same size moving right along with that one. And then here's another tornado. Amazing shot here. This one looking much taller in association with another tornado. This has been one of those days where we've seen some of the most amazing video as far as tornadoes go, and seeing two tornadoes both looking very large in the same picture. This is some of that video right now. It is the bottom of the hour. I'm Chris Warren. We're going to talk to the storm chaser who got video like this coming up in just a moment. First, we want to take a look at where the storms are right now, because on one of the tornado warned storms, one of the storms that has a tornado with it, police have spotted a tornado. So a confirmed tornado on one of these storms. So let's take a look right now where the action is, where we are dealing with that threat for some strong storms. and right now around Sioux Falls, but down here to the southwest of Sioux Falls. This is that tornado-warned storm that police say they have spotted a tornado near Taylor. And this storm right here potentially impacting Burwell, also Corner, a couple of the cities there. As we look, this is a tornado warning we are following right now as we time it out for you. DeVere at 7:03. It looks like that is when this strong storm will be near you. This is one of many storms we're following tonight, and the threat of flash flooding is also there with very heavy rain. Also damaging winds as well. That is something that we have to watch out for. Let's go back to the phone right now. Storm chaser Ben McMillan, he took some amazing video earlier today. And Ben, I hope we can show that to you right now, or show that while you talk to us. I don't know if you can see it, but we talk about what you did see today and some of the video you were recording.
Yeah, we started northwest of Columbus, and it was just another day in our occupation being out here trying to document these storms and spread the word if they became dangerous, and that certainly happened today. Between Columbus and Norfolk was really the duration of our afternoon. These tornadoes started fairly violently, but then expanded to multiple tornadoes, and that was really what was the story today, is having so many violent tornadoes occurring at once, all in a close proximity to us.
And how many vortices, Ben, did you see at one time? I know I was watching some of the stream live as it was happening earlier, and you saw these two large tornadoes. What else did you see? Was there anything that the camera wasn't picking up that you noticed in person?
Well, the biggest thing is that there's numerous wall clouds. We had the two significant tornadoes ongoing, but there was other areas of rotation which were, trying to spin up. And it's just the motions in the storm will probably be studied by scientists for many years to come, because you usually don't have that many circulations occurring in one storm.
And Ben, how long have you been chasing storms, and have you ever seen anything remotely like this?
Professionally, probably about 10 to 15 years, and I've never seen anything like this. I have seen two EF5 tornadoes, but even those large destructive tornadoes didn't really show characteristics that today's storm did.
And have you since you've been driving around, have you seen any of the damage that any of these storms may have produced?
We haven't yet, really, other than, seeing stuff as it was kind of by our car and we were driving by. But that was not really ever significant to stop. We didn't see any significant house or structure damage, really, that was close to us. But at this point, we are we're only about a half hour away from Pilger. We are going to head back to that area and just kind of document what occurred today. While we were showing you that video.
Okay, and this video certainly is amazing, and it's sometimes hard to get perspective of just how close you are to these storms, which would give you an idea of how big they are. I mean, the closer you are, the bigger they're going to look. How close were you, would you say, at your closest point and your furthest point when you were watching these storms?
Well, the majority of the day was probably shot from 1 to 2 miles away. However, when we were west of the tornadoes a few times when they were crossing the road in front of us, I would say we probably got as close as a half mile, because at that point the storm was not only moving to our north, it was also moving to our east. So we had plenty of motion that was taking the threat away from our immediate area.
All right, Ben McMillan, once again, we certainly appreciate you taking the time to speak with us and share your video. It certainly is amazing, and be safe out there. Also helping you to stay safe tonight, we do have a team of meteorologists, experts here at the Weather Channel, keeping an eye on the developing situation tonight. Of course, we do have storm specialist Dr. Greg Postel, and he's standing by right now with meteorologist Mark Elliott. Hi, guys.
Hey, Chris. Yeah, we just got a confirmed report coming in of a tornado active right now near the Taylor area. It's the same storm that if you were watching us, we were just talking about it about 5 minutes ago. We got to get right back into that storm.
Yeah, this is in central Nebraska, in an area where the atmosphere is very unstable, so there's a lot of buoyant energy for the thunderstorms to tap. This guy right here is an isolated supercell. Let's close in on it and show you where it is near the Taylor area in Nebraska. So the tornado warning is in effect for Custer, Garfield, and Loop counties until 6:45 p.m. But this storm has a tornado on it.
Yeah, and you can see that in the rotation. This is the radar kind of measuring out the motion of the raindrops within the storm. The green going towards the radar, the red going away from the radar, and if they're next to each other, you have that spin.
Yeah, this is what's called a TVS, Tornadic Vortex Signature. You've got the red, as you mentioned, going away, the green going toward the radar, and that's pixel-to-pixel contrast like that says there's very strong and tight rotation, hence we have got that tornado, and we've seen the reports of tornado in progress right now. So if you live anywhere in the vicinity, near Burwell or somewhere in between there, and even Taylor, watch out because this is a tornadic storm moving through.
Yeah, in fact, near Taylor, we were just looking at the storm kind of behind Taylor now. Taylor was already hit from the hail from that first storm. Now potentially another one getting organized just off to the west.
Yeah, there is. I mean, there's a lot of rain and hail out here, and we may be starting to see some broader rotation pick up back here again. But the strong part of the tornado, or excuse me, the strong part of the supercell is actually just to the east of Taylor where we were looking on that velocity scope. But anyway, those are the counties that are going to be impacted by this particular storm. And Burwell, 6:49 p.m. local time. Take cover now. No reason to wait for that.
Yeah, so on one side of your screen there you have video from earlier of the types of tornadoes that we've seen today. Now we're jumping to another area, this one towards Mason City, where there is another tornado warning right now.
Yeah, it is, and this is a tornado warning that is on the leading edge of a line of thunderstorms called a squall line that is going to be the dominant mode across northern Iowa, I think, over the next couple of hours. A line of storms with a lot of high winds and maybe some hail and maybe even some spin-ups of some tornadoes right along the leading edge like we're looking at right in here. So counties of, let's go back to that. If you can pick up those counties there, Sarah, we can get the people.
It's Gordo, Hancock, Cerro Gordo, Hancock, and Worth counties.
And Worth counties in Iowa for Clear Lake, Manly, and Ventura. Those are the cities impacted by this storm. Go to the velocity scan real quick there, showing you the motions inside the storm. And there it is, right in here. That's a pretty strong rotation right here. So, guys, there could very well be maybe some spin-ups right along the leading edge of this particular line of storms that is moving through eastward at about 35 miles per hour.
Yeah, of course, I-35 right in the path of this storm as it moves from west to east across the area. So if you happen to know anyone that's traveling 35 right around that area, you might want to give them a call and say get into shelter instead of being on the road.
Yeah, this is, I think, going to be a long-lived squall line tonight. So, I mean, right now we've got it on, but I think we're going to be tracking this thing for hours to come as it moves across Iowa and becomes a high wind producer. Regardless of whether or not there's a tornado, damaging straight line winds can, be damaging just as they as they say,
especially if they go crosswind across the highway.
Absolutely. Very dangerous conditions on the roadways, and I would not be surprised to see 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts with this as it moves through the evening hours, maybe even more than that, even into southern Minnesota. Look at Owatonna, Rochester, Winona, Minnesota. You are in line for some big storms.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of threats still out there, Chris. Back to you.
Yeah, a lot of threats indeed, guys. Thank you very much. That is why here on Weather Center Live, we are going to stay with you for an extra hour tonight. You will not see your regularly scheduled programming at the top of the hour. We are here to help keep you safe. We'll be right back with more expert analysis.
Currently in our area, 90 degrees under fair skies. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 69. Winds south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday, mainly clear. High 92. Winds south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Smoke?
Nah, I'm good. Celebrate every win with Nicoderm CQ, the unique patch with time-release smart control technology that helps prevent the urge to smoke all day long. Help prevent your cravings with Nicoderm CQ.
It doesn't take much to be happy when you enjoy the simplest and truest things. Look at your swimming pools. They'll never be enough. Like your fancy watches and your big cars. One day you realize that what matters is not the size of your car. It's the size of your yacht.
Because I'm happy. Clap along.
well-qualified lessees get the Fiat 500 Sport for $199 a month.
Wait! Prilosec's not made for immediate heartburn relief. Zantac's different. Zantac rushes relief in as little as 30 minutes. Prilosec can take 24 hours. Zantac. No pill relieves heartburn faster.
That's smooth. Transform your worn weather deck into a beautiful barefoot-friendly surface with Olympic Rescue It wood and concrete resurfacer.
Who are you talking to?
Olympic Rescue It, from America's most trusted brand since 1938. Available at Lowe's.
Sonic is so excited about half-price shakes on summer solstice. They're doing it early.
Wait a minute, summer started?
Whoa!
Put the top down, Pete. It's summertime.
Get half-price shakes all day on Thursday, June 19th. This is how you Sonic.
I'm a loving husband and a real good dad, but weeds just make me rattlesnake mad. Well, Roundup has a sharpshooting wand. I'm sending them weeds to the great beyond. No need to pump, just point and shoot. Hit them in the leaves and it kills to the root. Round fences, trees, even mulched beds, because the only good weed is a weed that's dead. Roundup. With a one-touch wand.
What makes Florida's natural taste so fresh and delicious? Is it the perfect blend of sunshine, rain, and temperature? Maybe it's the fact that our juice is always 100% Florida and never imported. Florida's natural.
Don't wait for awesome. Totino's Pizza Rolls get you there in just 60 seconds.
In the nation, it's not always pretty. But add brand new belongings from Nationwide Insurance, and we'll replace destroyed or stolen items with brand new versions. We take care of the heat, so you don't get burned. Just another way we put members first, because we don't have shareholders. Join the nation.
Nationwide is on your side.
Discover card. Hey, so I'm looking at my bill and my FICO credit score is on here.
We give you your FICO score each month for free.
Awesome sauce.
Wow. The only person I know that says that is Lisa.
Julie?
At Discover, we treat you like you'd treat you. Get the IT card and see your FICO credit score.
Welcome back to the Weather Channel. It is a dangerous evening for the severe weather threat. We have seen some very large tornadoes today. We have seen them live here on the Weather Channel. We're keeping a track on where there may be more tornadoes right now. Let's take a look at this big severe weather threat in Nebraska is where we're going to start. You can see a big mess there in Iowa and parts of Minnesota. But we look here in Nebraska. Police reported a tornado near Taylor, now near Burwell, a very large and dangerous tornado being reported as well. This is a dangerous situation. Tornado warning until 7:15. You do need to seek shelter right now as we time it out. Give you an idea of where it's heading. Burwell, again, really close to there right now. DeVere at 7:06 and Gables at 7:43. This is one of many areas we are concerned about tonight. Another tornado warning right here within the mess. There's also some very heavy rain, possibly damaging winds, but this tornado warning in effect until 7 o'clock Central Time. This does include Palo Alto, and this is for Lawrence, West Bend, and Whitmore. That's Palo Alto County. Again, this until 7 p.m. And then if you look closely, you can see another tornado warning. So we are looking at more than one. We're looking at a few tornado warnings stretching from Nebraska over and into Iowa right now with the threat of some strong storms. And these storms have been producing damage throughout the course of this afternoon and into the evening. This is something that we are taking very seriously. As we look here, you can see these tornadoes that we are watching. Again, damage has been reported, has been seen. We have seen reports of damage, including the town of Pilger, Nebraska. And meteorologist Nick Walker joins us live. He's going to take a closer look right now at some of this damage. And Nick, what have you seen? I mean, it's been a big day with tornadoes and the damage thereafter.
Well, I think you can attest to the fact, Chris, that when we were huddled around that television set watching these double tornadoes coming through the Pilger area, it was just an eerie feeling, just amazing. We have been getting pictures in from Pilger, and it looks like Pilger probably took the brunt of at least one of these tornadoes. This, I believe, this is the middle school, the Wisner Pilger Middle School, that houses 5th and 6th grade graders. This is the only school right in this small town of 378. There is a wider school district that encompasses other small towns around the area, and the high school, the elementary school are in other towns nearby. But this is the middle school, and it looks to me like it has sustained some damage here in the town of Pilger. And, you know, hopefully no one was inside at the time. We do know, of course, that folks were huddled in their homes in the Pilger area, a lot of them below ground as these tornadoes move through, and at least one of these tornadoes has been known to damage this area. Pilger, by the way, in northeastern Nebraska, it's about a mile south of Highway 275, the 275-15 South Junction there in Stanton County, Nebraska. It's considered to be a bedroom community to Norfolk, Nebraska, and Wayne, Nebraska. Some of these pictures that we have seen coming in, and some of these are new, actually, that perhaps we haven't seen yet, but obviously near Norfolk, Nebraska, also taking a big hit with the trees down in this area. Obviously some damage in this area. And Chris, I was saying before that it was an eerie feeling watching these tornadoes move through this area, seeing one after another move over some of the similar ground and seeing the debris that was being thrown up from this tornado. Another picture here near Norfolk, Nebraska, showing the damage to the trees and to at least one home in this area. It looks like the Providence Medical Center in the town of Wayne, just to the north of Pilger, has been told to prepare for mass casualties. We don't know the extent of the injuries. We don't know how many injuries, but nurses, we're told, have been sent to Pilger and to the town of Wakefield nearby as well to treat perhaps what could be a number of casualties. We're told at least 2 people are en route in an ambulance from the town of Pilger to the town of Wayne, to the hospital there to be treated. It looks like there probably are going to be more injuries than that. We'll continue to update you on the damage and the injuries as we get those figures in. Chris?
Yeah, and Nick, let's take a look now at some of the video. And we were watching this earlier. What did some of that damage? And this video is absolutely amazing. As we're still right now tracking some active storms, this is what we were seeing earlier today.
This is, of course, near Stanton, Nebraska. That's near Pilger. We're told Stanton was not hit, but near Stanton, that's probably one of the bigger towns there, near Pilger. Pilger, by the way, just a kind of a postage stamp. If you look at it on Google Earth, a population of 378 people there in northeastern Nebraska. One tornado after another moving through that area.
And Nick, we are just getting word right now that a tornado has been spotted, is in progress near Mason City, Iowa. We're going to be right back with that.
Great. This is the last thing I need.
Seriously? The last thing you need is some guy giving you a new catalytic converter when all you got is a loose gas cap. Let's take this puppy over to Midas and get you some of that good old Midas touch. Dude, you know what? I'll drive. I really didn't think this through.
It's time to take a closer look at your tires. Get up to $160 back by mail on a set of 4 Goodyear, Cooper, Firestone, and other select brands. Tires, brakes, oil, everything.
iHeartRadio is the one app where you can hear all your favorite live radio stations from all over the country. And you can create your own custom stations using your favorite artists. Millions of songs, thousands of stations, one free app. iHeartRadio is just that easy.
Currently in our area, 90 degrees under fair skies. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 69. Winds south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday, mainly clear. High 92. Winds south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Time to take care of business.
With CenturyLink's global broadband network and cloud infrastructure, we constantly evolve to meet your needs every day of the week. CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
Let's try on a new coat, one that covers better, lasts longer, and protects us from the elements, inside and out. Let's go to the place with the best paint, take it home for less, then rock and roll. Let's do the one thing that changes everything. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Behr Premium Plus Ultra Interior starts at $31.98 a gallon.
At GMC, one incredible idea leads to another. Like the all-new GMC Sierra with an innovative cargo bed and LED lighting. A quiet cabin no competitor can beat. And 2 years of scheduled maintenance. Incredible thinking in the form of a truck. This month, use your special value pricing to get over $7,800 total value on this specially equipped GMC Sierra SLE.
What do you mean homeowners insurance doesn't cover floods?
A few inches of water caused all this?
But I don't even live near the water.
What you don't know about flood insurance may shock you, including the fact that a preferred risk policy starts as low as $129 a year. For an agent, call 188-RAIN-914.
Rover.com is an online community that brings together pet owners with trusted pet sitters, and you just enter your zip code and you can find a 5-star Rover sitter near you. Today I have Lulu, and I also have Wesley, who was a last-minute pet sit. His mom did it online, and I picked him up the next day. A lot of clients who work a lot and travel a lot, they just want to make sure that their dog and possibly their home is taken care of.
New to Rover, get one night free at rover.com/TV.
America's Morning Headquarters with Sam Champion.
Not just a morning forecast, a morning show.
AMHQ with Sam Champion, the Weather Channel's brand new morning show.
Right now, there's a very serious threat of more tornadoes. There have already been reports of tornadoes. We have seen them live here on the Weather Channel and the damage they have done. So let's get to it right now with where the threat is right now. Storm specialist Greg Postel, Dr. Greg Postel, and meteorologist Mark Elliott are standing by with the latest threats right now. Hi, guys.
Hey, Chris, you know, a very dangerous evening setting up. 2 at least potential tornadoes, if not viewed, visible, confirmed tornadoes on the ground right now. It's been very active, and the atmosphere is primed for this to continue.
Yeah, it's a volatile evening, no doubt about that, across much of the Midwest. Let's look at what's going on in Iowa right now. We've got a whole bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings, flash flood warnings, I might add, but also some tornado warnings here near Mason City, Iowa, really. So this is for Cerro Gordo and Worth counties in Iowa until 7:15 p.m. Central Time. If you live in Mason City, Plymouth, or Portland, take cover now because we've seen reports of a tornado with this storm.
Yeah, and just a few minutes ago, really, as it came across I-35, there was visual confirmation of that tornado. Now the cell is a little bit further towards the east, but approaching Mason City.
Yeah, and if you look at the velocity scan inside of the storm to show you the circulation, if you can, there is broad rotation with it still near Mason City, right about like that. So if indeed there is a tornado inside here, right now it appears to be probably a radar indicated tornado based on what I'm looking at. Somewhere in this vicinity just to the northwest of Mason City would be where the tornado would be, and we don't have confirmation of it now, but it was in play. We think the tornado was in progress about 10 minutes ago just to the northeast of Clear Lake.
So what's different with this storm compared to some of the others we've seen today is that this, you have no chance of seeing a tornado. That's all rain, right?
This is all rain right in here on the high definition radar, all those reds and yellows. So the tornado, if it indeed is in progress now, somewhere up in here, is probably completely enshrouded in rain. So you will not be able to see it. So take cover if you live in any of those locations near Mason City, North Springs, Plymouth. Take cover now.
Between sunset and the rain-wrapped character of this situation, it's an increasingly dangerous one as we go into the nighttime.
Right, that's exactly right. And here the tornado warning does extend to 7:30 p.m. Central Time. It does appear to be these kinds of tornado formations right on the leading edge of a strong outflow from thunderstorms. So we're seeing a lot of the leading edge of the thunderstorm winds are like that with those strong winds pushing their way to the east. And every once in a while, some of those strong winds will get out ahead of some other strong winds nearby, and you get like a little bit of a circulation on the side, the edge of these little outflow jets, and that's when you get the spin-ups of these tornadoes on the gust front.
Which can still be plenty dangerous, that's for sure.
Sarah has some
yeah, I
news
was
for us.
just going to say, law enforcement reports a tornado with this particular tornado warning 1 mile south of Goodell, Iowa.
That must be north of Mason City. Let's go to the Gibson Ridge, the high-def radar, Sarah, if we can, because I've got the velocity scan on that.
So this is Goodell that I have right here.
Okay.
This could be it.
So
there's two in here. We have the gust front. There's a potential for two different tornadoes along this line on either side of I-35. So this is the storm that Sarah was just talking about near the Goodell area. Further north, near the Mason City area, that too is a storm that we've been watching with an increasingly visible rotation on our high-res radar. So that are two separate storms that we're watching here across the region.
Sarah, if you can go to our high-def radar right in here. This is that storm near Goodell. Again, this is showing you the swirling motion inside of the thunderstorm, and the circulation would be right in there. Let me get a better color for you so you can see it. Right in there, just to the east of Goodell and west of Thornton, likely moving east-northeast very quickly. So take cover if you live in Thornton, Rockwell, Sheffield, or Doherty, or any place in between.
So that's the setup right now across Iowa. But back towards the west, where earlier today we had that crazy setup with two tornadoes at the same time in Nebraska. We still have some severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings there as well. And there's a potential for an active tornado here also.
That's exactly right. This tornado warned storm here, which includes the counties of Custer, Garfield, and Luke counties until 7:15, is a monster of a supercell, likely very close to Burwell, Nebraska. And the signature is very clear. We have a tornado vortex signature in here where you can see the circulation is right in there. And what that's doing, let me switch over to, if you can switch over to high-def radar, there's Burwell in Nebraska. And what I'm going to do is show you where the storm relative velocity suggests there's a tornado. A very clear signature right in there. We just got the latest scan. Moved just to the north of due east. It is now north of Burwell in Nebraska. That is where the circulation is the tightest, and that is likely where a tornado is in progress.
And so what's been worrying us with this storm north of Burwell is the radar actually seeing the debris or potential debris. The radar doing a quick scan and seeing if things are circular or if they're irregular and tumbling. And when they are tumbling, you get that blue color to show up.
That's right. That blue shading right in here where the circulation was the tightest in the velocity scan is telling us that there are some irregularly shaped objects in there, non-meteorological targets, not rain, likely not hail, probably some objects from the ground, trees, shrubs, grass, pieces of gravel, whatever. Hopefully no structures. It does look like it is north of Burwell, so we can hope that's the case. But that is one of the signatures that you can help to confirm whether or not you've got a tornado on the ground, and it does look like this does have a little bit of a debris ball with it.
And are you able to step that back at all? Because within that view, it was just absolutely wild with the amount of blue that we had showing up at one point. As it approached the Burwell area, this storm got extremely well organized. Look at that.
Yeah, you can see this. This was now a while ago. This was about 15 minutes ago when it was just to the north of Burwell. That blue, that isolated blue shading right in there tells us that there's the debris tumbling around inside of the swirling motion outlined by that velocity signature, which is right in there. So those two lined up on top of each other tells us tornado in progress with debris.
And so that's that same cell now moving north of Burwell. So if you're in this area, you have to take this storm seriously, and you definitely need to take shelter from this one.
Absolutely, no doubt about that. And that is the storm that we're going to be dealing with across central Iowa, I think, for a while to go. Remember, earlier today, that's when we saw that big storm in northeastern Nebraska, that had that long-lived tornado and multiple tornadoes with it. This storm is forming in that same environment, so I would not be surprised to see long-lived tornado cyclical supercell with this as well.
And of course, on the screen, you have the video from earlier today where we had those massive tornadoes.
That's unbelievable.
And then below us, we have, well, there's that view. Look at that. It's things that we've never seen before. We keep going back to this video because it's just so astounding to us to have two violent tornadoes that are so close to each other, and we've been analyzing it. They both seem to be going in the same direction, the counterclockwise spin. So a very interesting yet dangerous meteorological phenomenon today.
Yeah, I mean, this is, and they were big tornadoes that lasted